Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. I am joined by Scott and Rob. We are waiting on Lucas, and we are here to talk all things Money in the Bank.
Indeed. Look at Rob. He's got the lighter mask on because it's so hot. Is it the hottest day in England so far? It's got to be, isn't it?
Something like it's got to be up there, surely.
Hydrating.
I think so. I mean, the mask, I've had to take the other one off because it was too hot on my face. I don't know how Ray does it night in, night out under them lights.
Imagine Kane as well, what Kane used to have. Like, obviously, he didn't have it all over his head, but it was still a thick mask, long hair, everything but one glove sometimes was off, So, whew.
Fantasy, innit, mate?
Fantasy? I don't know what kind of fantasies you've got, mate.
Anyway, that was a weird twist.
This is the tangent show, mate. This is the tangent show.
Yeah, obviously, it is the live build-up to Money in the Bank, which will take place later tonight or early hours of the morning if you are where we are in the United Kingdom. But yes, I suppose, guys, the biggest news coming out of this week in wrestling, fans are back.
Yeah.
As you can see, the WWE Universe returned on SmackDown. First man out, Mr. McMahon. Just all he said to the crowd was 6 little words. Where the hell have you been?
Yeah, I think it was a good way to do it. It's just obviously a little joke. It felt good hearing his music, and I think he probably was the right person. Did he come out first at WrestleMania as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it felt right then. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously coming out after him was Roman Reigns. It's like I think that was always going to be the tough one as to like how are the crowd going to receive him, because obviously when he was a babyface, people were booing him because it was like this whole thing of shoving him down his throats, and now he's playing this heel character. People are going to be like, do we cheer him now because the character's good, or are we meant to still boo him because
I think you got the right kind of balance, you got to show him that respect of you've done very well and you're a good heel, but you've got to again show him that respect of but you're a heel, so I've got to boo you. I don't think any of the boos were the old Roman boos, were they? They were kind of
like character-based.
Yeah, character-based boos. So
yeah. And the thing is, I think it's the right kind of thing when WWE are telling you this guy is a heel that you boo them. It's like a lot of the time, obviously, we know ourselves. If you get you like a certain wrestler and they're a bad guy, you may still cheer them because it's like, hey, I like this guy. But yeah,
I think
it's what it is, isn't it?
What do you think as far as like Roman's eventual face turn, right? Because it's gonna happen. When should it be and how should it be? I personally think he's got to be one of those cool heels that get turned face by the crowd, because as soon as they turn him face before people are ready for it, they'll kind of undo a lot of the good work they've done, and people will feel like he's being shoved down our throats again and stuff like that. It's a weird way wrestling fans work, I know, but I do feel like the fans need to turn him. What do you guys think?
So I don't think he'll turn for a while anyway, but because obviously we've just got fans back. However, I think he'll be he'll go from the heel that he is, but I think he'll become like an anti-hero. So I think he'll be like the Steve Austin. I don't want to use that as a comparison, but what Austin done when he wasn't the good guy, but he wasn't the bad guy. Like he was in the middle. Like I don't like using the word tweener as well, because some people do it well, but I think Roman needs to be the guy that was hated and then they hated him so much that they started loving him, as you kind of said, and then becomes kind of not a baby face, but just a face that can turn. Do you know what I mean? Because I think if they push him too baby, then I think everything that they've done will come undone.
100%. What about you, Dan?
I think for me, it's going to be... So I reckon it will be the night after WrestleMania. Whichever one. So apparently he's scheduled for the match with The Rock. So I think they're saying early plans, and this part of the reason as well why they said that they've kept Jimmy Uso around is because one route they're looking at going down is The Rock and Uso versus Roman and Uso. So that's one of the reasons, and apparently Jimmy's meant to be like a huge part of this story going forward with The Rock as well. So that's, I guess, why they're keeping him on side. But I think ultimately it may be the outcome of that match with The Rock, and The Rock basically giving him that like stamp of approval sort of thing. So and I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, if the crowd see like The Rock saying like, yeah, this is the guy now kind of thing, then I feel like that's when they'll kind of gradually turn. It'll probably be a baby face, but he's still got like some heel tendencies. So
to be fair though, Rock did that though, didn't he? At Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And that didn't go down too well.
He got booed.
It would be different. It would be the more natural version, you know. I think I don't want to be like, we need to do it, but yeah, we need to do it. The fans need to turn Roman face naturally. It needs to come. Like great heels over the past few years, they all go the same way. So I just think it's really important. I am scared that it's going to be soon though, because I don't know about you guys, but people have been pointing out what was said on SmackDown where Michael Cole was almost justifying Roman Reigns' behavior, and he was being like, he just wants to keep his family together, and it's like, no, he doesn't. He wants to be the head of the table. He wants to manipulate his family. He wants to turn them into what he is. You know, that's what he did with Jay and Jimmy. That's why this story has been so good. And I do think it's got to go somewhere. Does one of them turn or whatever else? But yeah, I think that's what's got a lot of people worried lately, thinking, are they trying to change up the verbiage to make us feel sympathy for Roman? It's like they were okay doing Roman as the bad guy as long as the fans weren't there. And I'm scared now that fans come back, they're going to straight away not give us that chance to let it breathe and let us see. Because I want to see bad Roman live. I want to hear that theme song. I want to watch him walk down the ring. You know what I mean? Like,
you want to boo him.
Yeah, I want to get that experience because, and not as a disrespect thing, as a respect thing. I want to say you have been an amazing heel. And like Dan, you're going on that Rock kind of example, but obviously there's that chance of it being Brock with the Paul Heyman thing. People have talked about that over the past year as well. What do you guys think if that's the scenario and the route they go down, where Brock comes back and somehow Roman ends up being the babyface because of that, or does Brock come back as a babyface?
Maybe they'll just do heel and heel.
Then that's what I mean. Do you think at the end of it, Roman comes out as the face somehow? Because like Heyman screws him? Or... Yeah,
I think that's the only way that they would be able to get around that part would be Heyman screwing him over or something. But I mean, even that, it's just really strange because like you can't. I think this character's going down so well at the moment, and obviously it started out just that he came in heelish initially. Yeah. So I think when he left, he was a babyface, wasn't he? Come in as a heel, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, there's no fans here to actually gauge what the reaction of the fans are going to be live. They've had like one show where he's been in front of fans, which was at WrestleMania, and then obviously SmackDown. And then, as you say, like the verbiage that they're using is kind of confusing. But then you could say there's a similar thing at the moment with Baron Corbin, because the stuff that obviously they were saying on SmackDown with him. So, you know, playing this sympathetic, like, oh, I've lost everything. But then some of the stuff that he was saying within his promo was like, oh, actually, yeah, he's still a bit of a douchebag, basically.
Yeah. Well, again, though, with like the wording they're using and stuff like that, it does change things. Like it could be, I guess the worry is that it could be setting up for something we don't want to see. That is the big fear, you know, where him turning too quick. And I do think that if he stays as a heel, it needs to be for quite a while. I think there needs to be 2 heel runs for Roman Reigns. I think he needs to be the big head of the table. He needs to be humbled and lose. Someone needs to get that big win. Don't turn him face before someone benefits from this heel run. Someone has to get that big face moment, whether it's one of the Usos turning, both of them turning, or it's someone winning the title off him. Someone needs to get that. Then we need to get the rebuild cocky, like he's clawing his way back. He won't accept that he lost and stuff like that, which they've kind of done with a few little taps have done here and there. Then we need that version of Roman Reigns. And then after that is when I think you need to have him turn on Paul Heyman or the audience turning babyface. You know, I think we need to, like, this is my biggest fear, is that it's going to be too soon. And I think we need two spells of Roman Reigns. And I think we're only in the first one at the moment.
Do you think, though, that because I was listening when I watched the SmackDown one a lot to it was Michael Cole, right?
Yeah.
And he's with is the other host is Pat, isn't it?
Pat McAfee.
Yeah. So, but Pat McAfee, I couldn't even say it then. He seems like the babyface commentator. So unless they're giving Michael Cole the heel role again and letting him become the heel commentator, which is why he's supporting Baron Corbin, because recently he started siding more with the heels. I don't know if it's just me that's noticed that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is a really like awkward scenario though, isn't it? So we don't obviously know how they're going to do it, but I mean, he did show on SmackDown that he's not infallible though. Obviously, Edge putting the steel chair part into his mouth and then making him tap out in the crossface. Obviously, can't be doing that on at Money in the Bank, because if he does, then you get disqualified, mate. You know, you hit someone's head off of a announce table now, you get disqualified, as Rhea Ripley found out. So we have got a comment as well here from Johnny Black. Hi everyone. Believe that they're going to waste the Money in the Bank contract with Rollins, lose his cash in just to cost Edge the match. Crazy thought. So I'm guessing you're thinking something along the lines there, Johnny, of what happened with Rollins when he last cashed in, make the match like a triple threat match, but essentially just, screw Edge over. You know, correct me if I'm wrong on that though, but that's my gauge of that sort of thing. So,
yeah, I think.
So I mean, Lucas was the only one that actually went with Seth Rollins. Obviously, me and Scott both said Drew to win, and Rob, you had your theory about the Big E thing, didn't you? And the new day.
Speaking of Lucas, let's bring him in. Yeah. So Lucas is here now as well.
Oi.
What's going on?
Hi guys.
Now you're the exotic one on location.
I'm just stuck outside.
Wait,
I'm literally stuck outside where I live. I'm sorry?
What do you mean by stuck? Have you lost your keys or what?
But basically, my mum's gone. No, my mum's gone to the pub. She literally said she would not be going out, and she never goes out. She never ever goes out on a Sunday, like ever, apart from in the morning. And she decided now to go out, and I'm stuck outside, and she's refusing to come back. So I've got to wait for my cousin to get here with the keys.
Can you not just go to the pub and get the keys?
Show us
take
the
us
pub.
with you.
Live stream the pub.
I don't
Flip your phone round, by the way, as well.
Lit my phone.
Oh.
This way.
Sideways.
Turn
it. Like that. There we go.
Oh, no, it didn't work.
It's sideways.
Yeah, that's better.
No, you're looking at me sideways.
Yeah, wait, is your phone on lock? Maybe your phone's locked. Have you got the rotate lock on?
Yeah.
There we go. Crowds are back. You got your pop. There we go.
Oh, mate, I swear. I love the build-up shows.
Anything can happen.
Yeah,
we always have
got the wrong way around.
Such good fun.
There we go. Here we do. Wait, have we got these the right way? Are they the wrong way down the bottom?
Yeah, it's just there we go.
There we go.
You also had a haircut as well, haven't you, Lucas?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I found like some nice. I found some nice guy around here. Well, an actual barber, but 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 yeah, he's really cheap, he's really good. So I go to him quite often now.
Yeah. Weren't your mum doing it before she went to the pub, no?
It'd look a bit different then. She'd be rushing to get out.
I don't know where she is. It's mental, absolutely mental.
Probably down Spoons, mate.
Yeah. No, she's not in Spoons.
She's looking for the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Maybe. Yeah, she's the mystery entrance tonight. Maybe, I don't know.
She's on the pre-show.
But yeah, where are we up to then, lads?
We were basically just talking about Roman Reigns, but we can go anywhere. We haven't done any predictions yet for the rest of the ones we haven't done
okay.
Yet, but
I think, because you're outside, Lucas, I think you should get some public predictions.
I heavily doubt anyone in Greenwich. He's got to people. You watching Money in the Bank tonight? I'm pretty certain everyone that.
Ask them.
Let's go up to the.
Who's winning Money in the Bank?
Like, excuse me, who's going to win? Roman Reigns or Edge?
Yeah, Roman Reigns or Edge.
Well, I've got a bag here. Next two that do walk past a lot. At the moment, there's two young girls.
That's what we want to know. Because it's easier.
I don't want to get people that are obviously under the age of 16 involved. So, the next two adults that walk past. The next two adults that walk past, I will ask.
All right.
Now watch no one walk past.
Until then, what should we talk about? Let's talk about the fan stuff again. What do you guys? I mean, everyone watched SmackDown. I didn't. I watched bits of it. I wasn't the beginning.
Yeah, I watched
until Lucas texted me in the middle of the night and told me Undertaker was back and made me jump back on. I was like, what? It was Finn Balor, which was still cool to see. But I was like, what?
But yeah, and it was fun as well doing later SmackDown and having somebody that was actually there on the of course, that as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've not seen it, then Rob. Then we had there was a guy in there that was commenting who was actually at the show, and so it was pretty much like a Q&A session. I was saying to him, so what happened here? Who got the loudest pops? And apparently, so after Edge and Roman, the loudest pop of the night was for Liv Morgan, and it was like an entrance we didn't even see. Because obviously she was out doing commentary with Zelina Vega for the women's match. So
there's a lot of rumbling about her winning the Money in the Bank.
Awesome. There's I think there's 3. I know obviously getting into predictions a bit later, but for me, I've got it down to 3 for that match. So I'm like,
okay,
right,
yeah.
We'll
get to them in a bit.
Yeah.
I've got the pop-up pirate as well. We'll have that. Where is not pop-up pirate? What am I talking about? I can't be calling him that.
Does it work?
Ronnie Storm.
It always works. It's just me.
It's just when you touch it.
Yeah.
While you're playing with Ronnie, stop it. What's your thoughts on David Boy Smith coming back?
Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
It looked good, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I'm very excited.
I don't think he's now going by the name Harry Smith, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is it Harry Smith he's going as?
Yeah.
What did he do in World of Sport? Was it Davey Boy Smith Jr. or British Bulldog?
Yeah,
Jr.?
Dave Smith. Yeah, because they were trying to get some of the audience that might remember his dad, to watch the show. Look, and I'm pleased that he's back. Like, I think so there's just before I get into that though, like there was something that you said, Rob, actually, as I was coming in the waiting room for this, talking about Pat McAfee as a commentator. I believe the idea is that they're going to be turning Baron Corbin face. Right. Hence why they're giving him this gimmick where like he's unlucky, and that they're thinking that it will get over with the fans. I think that's what it is. Pat McAfee is definitely a villain commentator. He's definitely a colour commentator. They wouldn't dare turn Michael Cole heel again. Or they tried it in 2011, but yeah, it didn't really work in the nicest possible way. And obviously they need he is like now the face of the commentary, isn't he? Really, if you think about it.
I guess. And so, was you not a coal miner back in 2011 then? That was
the thing is, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it until we had a WrestleMania match, and that was when it made me realize that WrestleMania, like, they didn't give a crap about anymore, like in a nice possible way. And obviously, it wasn't really until they then obviously had The Rock get involved and obviously do what he did at 28 and 29 against Cena, and then obviously they made a big deal at 30 and Bryan that they started going, actually, we should remember it's actually WrestleMania, not just like a Raw, a random Raw or a board. But yeah, back to fans though. Like, look, like, was decent. Like, I think obviously some people are still it's still mad. Like, obviously fair enough. Over here in the UK, we had the Euros take place and Wimbledon take place the last few weeks, and obviously we got used to again kind of seeing people together. But we're still on the impression that okay, that was like a one-off thing, and we're still waiting, obviously, for more stuff like that to happen over here. But obviously, seeing America just literally just be like, well, yeah, we don't give a crap basically, and seeing
I
people
guess it's
without
different
masks and
state to state as well, you know. So there's going to be so many different.
yeah, like obviously Texas, where they were obviously in Houston, weren't they? In Houston, like they literally got rid of everything, like a few months back now, and haven't their governor hasn't shown any kind of care about this situation, which at the moment is working all right for them, to be fair. But you never know. But yeah, it was nice seeing the fans back. Like tonight's the real test for me though, because I do think like a crowd that will go to a Raw SmackDown are different to ones that go to a pay-per-view. Even outside of pandemic times, obviously the ticket price, the pay-per-views are usually more expensive. So obviously, you're not only really going to see like a lot of the diehards there, like the casual kids and the kid fans that come, that they probably go to a television taping, more so than like a pay-per-view, I would have thought. So
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be
are we going to
interesting
see
to hear
all
tonight.
the famous fans? Are they all going to be at the front?
Green shirt guy
We're gonna
there,
Yeah, green shirt guy.
Probably.
and that other weirdo. Yeah, like, but look,
Calm
it
down,
was.
man, Lucas.
Narrows it down, doesn't it?
That's right. There are some weird people that goes to WWE events.
Yeah.
Maybe they found something else in the past year and a half, though.
Maybe.
Maybe they've gone to AEW. I don't know. But yeah, look, no, I think it's good seeing fans back, though. I'm concerned that they're still using some of the noise from Thunderdome. In some of the reactions.
was a big
Like
fear,
I've heard
wasn't
talk about them using it for Bianca Belair. And I do worry that once that button's been pressed, it's kind of hard to unpress it. You know what I mean? Like they've pressed it so many times now, but they've just gone, oh, someone needs to sound like a babyface. Let's, here we are, babyface.wav. Whack it on and get a babyface reaction. And it sucks for the talent because they think they're over, but they're not, because fans still have questions.
Yeah,
And
I think.
sorry, just quickly talking about Bianca Belair, it's just been announced that Bianca and Carmella are going one-on-one again on SmackDown next week for the championship.
Why? Why have they done this? All right, we've lost Lucas for a little bit. We'll bring him back when he's ready. But
I mean, the only thing I can say with that is, could we be seeing maybe a cash-in?
I mean, I hope not.
When
are we gonna see?
What, tonight?
On Friday,
no.
I'm assuming. Is that what you mean?
Friday, yeah, like someone cash in.
We could set it up on. Don't have to announce today that they're gonna have a match on Friday. Before that, like, why do you put her on the poster and then have a title defense either side of the pay-per-view, but not on the pay-per-view?
Because Bayley got injured, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, but like,
the weird thing is though,
her and Carmella, the SmackDown one should have been on the pay-per-view.
It's like, would it have still? It's strange to think though. If it was still the Bayley thing, would they have moved? Was that going to originally be moved to SmackDown? Was that the plan all along?
Surely not.
To get more eyes on SmackDown.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, I think this is just me. I know these like promotional materials are done a long time ago, and there are a lot of pay-per-views where people aren't even on the poster, or on the poster, sorry, but aren't even in the main event or in the big match or in the match at all. But when it's your SmackDown Women's Champion, and you did have a match, and things changed, you could easily put her in another match on the show. So I guess there's still time. There's a few hours left.
I mean, the thing is, you look at, there's a Money in the Bank ladder match, which has got 8 women in it. You're telling me, and obviously Carmella was one of them. So are you telling me they literally couldn't have just pulled one out and just said, right, you're actually going to face her on the pay-per-view? You could have set it up like on SmackDown, Bianca basically saying, okay, the one of you want to forfeit your Money in the Bank spot to actually come and challenge me at the pay-per-view.
Why would you do that? They'd all do that then, wouldn't they?
No, basically, well, if one of them, it's like, how they always do like an open challenge, first one to come out. What I mean is,
if that's the case, why would you? I'm just talking about in logic of characters. Just imagine it's all legit, right? You were playing a character, or the characters are real, right? Why would you want to be in a Money in the Bank match then? Everyone would choose to be in the open challenge.
Yeah, I guess. But
money back. They just needed a different.
Yeah, a different way of doing it. Yeah.
I mean, so I guess we'll get back to it when Lucas comes back, and we'll do our predictions.
And that.
Yeah, I just I'm not a fan of moving it. And then now, why now telling us about next Friday? Has it just been announced that then?
Yeah, it was announced a while ago, or a few hours ago, I think. It's all something that happened like on social media and that, I think.
Right.
So
they've been doing that quite a bit, haven't they? Like just putting matches up now, or changing matches, or adding to or taking away from matches, using social media a lot over the last couple of months. I think was it on the build up to Mania as well? They done that.
Yeah, it was announced late yesterday. There we go. Yeah, in the wake of the contest on SmackDown, Carmella wasted little time venting her frustrations over the loss by laying into Belair on social media. In response, the EST of WWE responded on Talking Smack and challenged Carmella to step in the ring for the gold once again on
It doesn't make sense though. Like as logic, why would the champion go, have another shot? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Why would the champion be that angry to give them another shot? That doesn't make any sense, but they do this, man.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, is Lucas coming back? I'm sure he'll come back at some point. But
he's just messaged me. He said he's managed to find a key, so he's going inside now. So he's
yeah.
looking
under the paving slab.
He's being let in. Yeah.
What?
I'll tell him to ask his cousin.
Okay, that's not as fun as a random in the street.
It's not. I was expecting to run up to someone.
It's not quite the same.
Roman or Edge.
Yeah, exactly.
They'd be like, "What the heck are you on about?"
You never know. You never know. They might have known Edge from their younger days or something like that. Been a lapsed fan. You never know.
Well, you think they'd know him?
Hey! What a donut. Oh, wait a minute. I just want to push up this graphic because I literally thought it was King of Kings Triple H for a second.
Which one? That's Omos, mate.
Yeah, that threw me. Just seeing the graphics on the side there.
And also, if you haven't already, on this one, Nikki Cross's new gimmick.
Yeah. Or
Nikki A.S.H in the middle.
Ash.
So, showing you, Rob, how to wear a mask, mate. So
I've got it on my face. I mean, what do you want? What more do you need?
What do you want? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the sweat in it, though? Is it sweating down?
Oh, no, it's Gucci. I'll put the hood on because every time I wear this one, my head just drops back. Like, it falls back on my head. So I'll put it on and it holds it flat for some reason.
You look a bit like, is it Arrow? The Stephen Amell.
I mean, it's Hurricane, but I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know, because he has the hood, though, right? He wears a hood, right?
Yeah.
And he's those kind of colours as well. Bro, I know it's Hurricane, right? I'm talking about the hood.
Stand back, man.
That's enough of these puns, mate.
I'm sorry.
Last year, actually, Money in the Bank was the very first pay-per-view we actually all sat down and predicted together.
Oh, no.
Was it?
Yeah. It wasn't at the same point in the calendar, was it? It was the first.
No.
Mania.
So it was Money in the Bank, then Backlash last year, and then Extreme Rules. So then this year it's Backlash, Hell in a Cell, then obviously Money in the Bank. But yeah, I was literally looking through the the score things today, and it popped up on there as to obviously last year's scoring, and yeah, Money in the Bank was the first one we did last year. All three of us getting 4 points in it, and Lucas only getting 3. Pretty much the story of how it went, wasn't it? Nah.
With Money in the Bank last year, though, thinking about it, that was our first time, like you say, doing it, and obviously on the main Rebellious Noise channel back then. How weird is it that was our first pay-per-view with a Money in the Bank that was unlike any Money in the Bank, and they ran through the whole, and it was cinematic, and they went on the roof, and I remember at the time thinking, will they do this again? Will they make it its own match? Or will they do something else next month? Because remember, it was literally early pandemic days. Nothing. Nah, we ain't doing that again.
It was the strangest thing as well, because they obviously had the 2 briefcases, but then both matches finished at different times. You'd think, was it not just going to be...
I wouldn't mind if they did that kind of match again, but called it something else. It wasn't Money in the Bank, you know? Because I think there was definite silliness about it when they threw people over the...
Rooftop Rumble.
Rooftop Rumble. Yeah, exactly there, man. Like, why don't
Well,
do that?
If they steal that, you heard it here first.
Didn't I think Barry Thingy won that, didn't he? Barry Alistair Black won it because he Baron Corbin threw 2 people off the
it was Ray and
Those were
Alistair
the
Black,
rules,
wasn't it?
He would have won under those rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, what a pay-per-view. What a year it's been, boys. What a year.
Yeah, I mean, just think, last year we didn't even have Roman at all. And now he's a champ, and everyone loves the fact that he's heel compared to last year. When I think, how long was he out for? Was he out before the pandemic era started? Was he?
No, he left because of it, wasn't it?
WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Yeah, because
Just
of
before
Was that the last
WrestleMania.
time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what the rumor was, and whatever health and stuff. But obviously, I don't want to speculate too much. But that's what everybody seems to think. Well, same as like when Sami Zayn didn't come back for a while, and but yeah, he was gone from the start of it. Yeah, since the WrestleMania, and then think about it, you're right, man. A lot of things have changed. This time last year, Otis was one of the most over people in the company, and now look what's happened to him in a year.
Yeah, you loved him.
Yeah.
And now he's got no beard, short hair.
Yeah.
Looks
Yes.
really strange now.
And then
See what happens when he broke up with a woman? He didn't. He went down.
I think no, he's doing some good. He's doing some really good work there now with Chad Gable. So
yeah, I mean, anything Chad Gable's in, I love it. Like he does the best of his ability. He's never being used properly, is he? Like
no.
But how many teams is that man going to be in?
And how many people is he going to get over with him, kind of thing as well? Because he's such a good athlete as well. Do you know what he reminds me of? It's going to sound strange. He reminds me of like a mid-card Daniel Bryan, like the way that whoever Bryan would team with, like he could just pull that person up to like his level and just be like, take this person seriously. Yeah. And I think Gable's got that kind of,
ironically, seeing as he's not exactly taken seriously though. Do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's his weight, Chad Gable? Is it under 205?
Let's have a look.
Because I mean,
I know he's short because that was his gimmick.
202.
202. Imagine him with the Cruiserweight Championship, just making it credible. Because I mean, we've had it before. I mean, if Enzo can do it and he can talk, just giving him the opportunity on that championship and letting it actually grow into the because at the moment it's with NXT, isn't it? So let him win it at NXT or something, and then take it on to Raw and SmackDown, or do like a Gable World Tour when we start getting like tours around that, or the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that'd be pretty decent.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I mean, the thing is as well, they say about him being short. He's 5'8", and Otis is only like 2 inches taller than him. Yeah, but apparently he's shorty G.
Yeah,
I absolutely hated that.
Stupid. Yeah, whole thing's stupid.
That was dumb. Yeah. The way they go on about him being short is like it's like, well, he's not bloody like Hornswoggle. It's like he's 5'8" in like the UK. I think isn't like the like average height is like 5'9" or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He's not exactly like. I think if you met him, you wouldn't go, "Cool, he's short." I know he's a wrestler, so it's supposed to be a bit different. But
yeah, you're not exactly going to be like, "Come here, mate, let me rest my arm on your head." Or something.
And you see the size of him, because for the size of him, obviously he's going to be quite stocky, So I think if you met him, you wouldn't come away from going, which one was that at the party? Oh, the short guy. That's just not the way you describe him. So yeah, I don't know what they've been doing with that man. But right, we got a comment here. Lucas isn't with us, but he's with us. Just hate that they split up a tag team to make another tag team. Lotus is their weird obsession. Yeah, man. We've gone on about a million times, isn't it? About even looking on our little podcast we did after certain wrestlers got released and stuff. Of like, they don't know what they're doing, do they? They like you see a booking, you go, this is definitely going this way, or they're setting this up for this, but. I don't know if we should say 50% of the time, but it feels like that at times, that 50% of these kind of little or this must be secure, always end up not being secure. Like wrestlers getting released, teams getting split up. Like the Hurt Business. Why don't we have the Hurt Business anymore? Like what? Nothing came of them breaking up. It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't like it when they just split them up like that. It's like, I just think they didn't know, if they didn't know what to do with Tucker, like just keep him in the team for the time being, sort of thing, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, Tucker and release wrestlers coming up on this channel very soon, by the way, will be Release Mania 2. We've mentioned it a few times on the channel before. On the original Rebellious Noise channel, we did Release Mania, where we went and booked a card out of all the released wrestlers, just to prove a point, really, of the talent that WWE have let go. And this year, obviously, as you know, there's been a fair few releases as well. So me and Dan will be going over that soon. And check it out on this channel. Give us a little subscribe and check out more of our stuff. But let's talk about the wrestlers that are still around, though, guys. Who you excited for tonight? Matt, obviously, once Lucas comes in, we'll do the proper predictions. But what match are you excited for the most? I guess for me, it's probably either Money in the Bank match, because they're just always so exciting. What about you guys?
Dan, do you want to go first?
I mean, I think for me, it's going to be probably the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because I think it's a harder one. Well, I say harder to predict, but I just feel as though there's going to be something happening in it. But I don't want to give too much away now in the predictions, but that's the one I'm looking forward to anyway.
Cool.
So this will probably be the first time that I actually really want to watch the pre-show, because isn't that the Usos versus the Mysterios, right?
Yeah, very.
Dude, how explain to me how you can have this on a kickoff show? It baffles my mind how 4 talented people. I mean, okay, granted, Dominik has come up through Ray, through family.
Yeah.
However, he's great in the ring. And he's still got a lot to learn.
To see him get his first fan reaction, by the way.
Mate, it was so good.
And Ray coming together, it was great.
I was
going to say, to your point, and I don't want to. This isn't me trying to put these guys down either, right? But I'm just going to do a little thing here. Which one do you want to see on the main show? Which one do you want to see on the kickoff?
Honestly, obviously,
I mean, one of them is storyline. One of them has so much more potential. It's going somewhere in story. It's been somewhere in story. It's the payoff to a big story. It's attached to the main event story. And again, that's not a knock on any of these guys. You know, I'm excited. Like when we found out earlier that both these tag title matches were on the show, I was excited about it. You know, finally we get to see defenses and stuff, particularly for AJ and Omos after their WrestleMania win and not being around for much after it. But and you know, the war, what they call these days, Viking Raiders, War Raiders, for them, you know, getting their shine. But we can't deny the fact that the other one is the bigger program. It is. It deserves to be on the card.
Yeah. And I never thought there'd ever be a day where I was going to say, I'm more bothered about a Rey Mysterio in a tag match. And I want to see that more than I want to see an AJ Styles match. I never thought, like, obviously I'm a huge fan of Rey. Don't get me wrong, like, from back in the day even to now. But he's at a point where he can drop down and it's fine. Do you know what I mean? He's still Rey Mysterio. Whereas with AJ Styles, you still expect him to be around the upper mid card main event area, like scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that he's now a tag champion and he's a Grand Slam champion, great, good for him. He's done it in quick succession with WWE. But I'm more bothered about the other match that's on the kickoff show because, as you said, it's story driven. And I think it's going to be the better match. Out of the 2 tag matches that they've got for the tag championships, the Rey, the Mysterios versus the Usos, I think it's going to be a better match. 100%.
It could have main evented the pay-per-view. Like, if you said that was the main event of the pay-per-view, I'd be okay.
I wouldn't complain.
It would. The only way it would make little sense is because of the Edge and Roman one. That is surely a notch above it. So it should be a co-main event, you know, like or the opener or something like that. I just maybe something's gonna happen though. Maybe there'll be some sort of shenanigans and they have to like redo the match, and it is going to be on the show. But it's risky business not to advertise it for the show. But then again, as we always say, kickoff shouldn't be seen as a demotion. Sometimes kickoff is great, and like, if you're WWE, surely this is going to be one of the biggest kickoffs, other than WrestleMania, that they've had in a long, long time. Surely people are going to be tuning in for this match.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I think as the Usos kind of made their name, really, didn't they, on the pre-show? They were like the kings of the pre-show at one point. They would just literally go out there proving a point.
That's why.
And just...
Maybe they said,
maybe.
We want it on the pre-show.
I mean, the only other thing is that could be their way of kind of punishing Jimmy, is like, instead of putting it on the main event, it's going to be on the pre-show. But
yeah.
I mean, that's the only other thing really I can think of. But I mean, I think a lot of the stuff, like as we said before, with like the Bailey getting injured stuff, has thrown a lot of stuff off, really. And obviously that would have been on the main show, but I think possibly because obviously the AJ and Omos tag match was meant to be on Raw. So possibly this was always going to be on the pre-show, but then I think it would have been better to be, I guess, on the main show. Yeah, I think the Usos definitely would have been great. But
it's so disappointing.
Yeah,
man. It really is. But maybe, like we said, maybe it'll end up on the show because of some sort of shenanigans and whatever else. But yeah, it is a real shame that they're not taking part in the main show after the storyline they've been involved in as well. Okay, right. So we're going to go to some of Lucas's comments here as well. Right. So we've got, I think it's WWE is something worked once 20 years ago. They keep doing it because Shawn Michaels super kick money generated through the barbershop when they became a massive star. They know. Yeah, well, true. It's so going on us talking about teams splitting up, make everything split up in hope to try and recapture that moment. Yeah, true. Excited for the ladder match as always. Like you say, splitting up teams just in the hopes that it'll work. It's kind of like a proven formula, but sometimes they give up on it themselves. Why we never saw a proper Crime Time feud, for example, always bugs me. Like that always bugged me about. Yeah, but okay, cool. So is it looking like Lucas isn't going to be able to make it back in, Dan? Or
yeah, we did. I did just get a message from him saying so that
the anonymous Raw GM.
Yeah, anonymous Raw general manager. So he said to carry on with the predictions, and he will just have to message his predictions into us. It's obviously gonna wait until we've all done ours. Yeah, that's a sensible way of doing it, isn't it?
All of these ones are only worth 1 point now. No, get him to text them into you now. No, but then you'll see him. You'll be influenced. Oh no!
I said to him, put them in the comments on here.
Put them in the comments.
So, Lucas, if you can hear us, we're going to do the dice thing. And if your number comes up first, then we're expecting...
No, it's this.
It's Ronnie this time, isn't it?
It's Ronnie. Come on.
Oh, is it Ronnie this time?
It is. It might not work, though, because, I'm not good at setting it up. But that is a bit awkward, though, because you're right. If Lucas gets picked, then what?
Then I guess
Lucas,
we wait.
Why can't he rejoin us? What's going on? Lucas!
He said he's got
probably still looking for the key.
No, he said he's got indoors, but it's a madhouse at the moment. So he's got loads of people apparently.
Okay.
Ask them, get them in on the predictions.
Yeah, bring them in. What the heck's going on, man? You got commitments here, bro. Check out our main predictions if you haven't already. I know that if you're watching this live, well, we don't want you to leave this, but we'll finish before the show. So if you want to see what we think of some of those matches that we aren't going to predict today, the ones that were already announced by last week, then check that video out. But in the meantime, boys, Ronnie Storm's ready for a bit of action. So Dan was red, I was green, Rob was no, you were green.
I'm green. I don't know. I can't remember.
No, you were blue because you had the blue mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was green. I had the green bandana on the first. I don't just wear bandanas. It was pirate theme for WrestleMania. So it was red, green, blue, and Lucas was yellow. So if we get a yellow, I don't know what we're going to do. But this is the build-up show and anything goes. So we'll make it up as we go along, obviously. Dan's first.
He said he'll be on in 5, so hopefully we may be able to get him on. So
we can wait 5.
By which time the pirate may actually work. So
I mean, it takes you 5 minutes to get them sticks in.
Yeah, let's do a trial run.
Yeah, we'll do a trial run. Right. For we'll do a fake prediction of Carmella and Bianca Belair for SmackDown. There we go.
Fake prediction. All right, red. Green. Blue. Come
Bang.
on, Ronnie, don't let me down. What's mine again? Oh, yellow's the last one. Red. Why am I saying them out loud? Green. It is
It's his own work, isn't it? Practicing what colours what.
Blue is next.
Blue.
Oh, I'm proper scared, you know. I always am. Yellow. And red.
Oh,
This
the
ain't going to work,
suspense.
is it?
It's
No, it's
always
not.
towards the end, though. It's always towards the end. Blue. I might have lost one, you know.
I think you lost one of
yellow.
mine.
I think I found that one, though.
And you lost another one.
I know I've got 4 left, so we're good, man. We're good.
Okay.
I mean, I might not say it up properly, but other than that, we're good. Red. Green. Yeah,
Oh.
work, is it?
Oh.
Blue.
Oh.
No, it didn't work. All right. I'll be back in a minute, guys. I'm going to go get my lady to set it up.
He's going to go get his assistant. Every good magician has
Every time.
an assistant. So
Here. I can't hear.
I think we'll go back to the dice, mate.
It's always when we're live.
It popped then.
Oh.
Back in a sec.
So
Are we predicting the kickoff show, by the way?
Yeah, we'll be doing that as well.
Right, okay. I was going to ask your opinion on it, but if we're predicting it, I'll do it in a bit.
But I mean, you're welcome to ask my prediction on stuff because obviously we got SmackDown as well that we need to talk about. So hang on. Oh, we got one more back now as well. Oh, look like you landed on a hammock or something.
I'm in bed. I'm shattered. I've been out.
Yeah.
I've been out since 5:30.
Oh man!
Did you find your mum in the end?
I'm done.
Did you find what pub she was in? What bar she was propping up?
No, she came back. I think she wants to go out again, so I don't know. We shall see. Scott's back as well.
Is this Babe Station?
Yeah. Yeah, we were just in the process of changing the thing, scrolling along the bottom to a phone number.
Hey, look, shake the phone. Shake the phone.
It's 0900. Don't call us. We won't call you.
All right, I'm gonna go do a little test run of these, and I'll be back. I'll be back in a minute. Special delivery. Let's move you guys back over. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
See you in a sec.
Yeah. So what have we predicted so far?
So far, we have predicted the Raw Women's Championship, where me and Rob both said Rhea Ripley, Scott and Lucas both said Charlotte Flair. We have all predicted that Bobby Lashley will retain against Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
We've all predicted that Roman Reigns will defend against Edge. And we are split on the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, where me and Scott both reckon it's going to be Drew McIntyre. Lucas reckons Seth Rollins, and Rob reckons Big E, or Beige, if you take the space out. So, I mean, would there be any that you guys, like, looking back on it, would change now?
No, to be fair. I don't think, obviously, having watched SmackDown, but I don't think enough's going to happen for me to kind of go, oh, you know, I'm definitely wrong with Seth Rollins, if that makes sense. Like, I think if I'd picked someone like Kevin Owens, potentially, because, I don't know, there's something going on potentially with, like, Corbin, and like, Nakamura. Like, if I pick one of the weaker people, basically, in the match. But because I think I picked quite a strong one, who's got to be kind of, you know, I don't know, like, you never know when they kind of, you know, start planning this stuff out, you know.
Well, apparently, as of SmackDown, they still hadn't decided the winner of either match, which doesn't surprise me. I honestly would be surprised if Vince has actually knows who's going to win the match as they're coming. It'll probably tell them as they're going out the curtain, oh, by the way, you're winning tonight. Or it'll just be like, oh, yeah, something's happening at the end. Where's Brock? Go out there and do that thing again that you did. But
well, yeah, they chop and change stuff. But no, I wouldn't. And obviously, Lashley, I've got Lashley retaining. I think that's, I don't think it's as much of a lock-in as the Roman Reigns retaining. It's hard though as a pay-per-view, I think, because like obviously having the Money in the Bank matches and the fact that cash-ins can happen potentially from essentially from the first ladder match happening and finishing, a cash-in can take place like from that exact moment, can't it?
I suppose it all depends though on what match order they do, because like say they do the Raw Women's Championship match before they do the Women's Money in the Bank, and it's a Raw person wins there, I doubt they're going to they wouldn't be able to do the cash in then, so you kind of know that one wasn't happening. But I think that's why the more likely one they should really do early on. But I think the biggest one, like the hardest one to predict, I guess, would always be the Raw Women's title one, because that's like a coin toss, really. It could be either one of them. So,
but why did you come in like a granddad?
You can say about most of the matches. It just depends what. With WWE, I think it depends what's next. I guess if they've got something, obviously now we're looking towards SummerSlam, aren't we? And like they've got something for SummerSlam for someone, they will just change stuff, won't they?
Yeah. What was you saying about Pops, by the way, Rob?
He come crabbing in like a granddad and sat down so slow.
Hey, I'm in flip flops. It is boiling hot. I've got a set around me. I'm trying not to destroy. Right?
You just come in like this.
I thought the zombies were a couple of months back.
Oh mate.
Oh man.
Okay.
Is it working? If not, I've got a dice. I've got the dice here.
No, the dice is for the normal prediction show. This is the wild one. It's funnier when it fails. Right.
Like our predictions.
Yeah, well. Okay. I feel like we need a chant for Ronnie Storm, though. That might make him work better. Like, I don't know. What chant should we do?
No.
No, not like that. like a Ronnie Storm. Ronnie Storm. Oh, there we go. Let's go, Ronnie. What we doing?
Ronnie sucks.
I knew you'd say that.
Unbelievable. There's always one hater. All the flavors and you pick salty.
Bit like my popcorn, mate.
Okay. Right. Starting off, Red. What match are we doing first?
This is the pre-show match, isn't it?
Let's go. Yeah, might as well start that pre-show.
We've already moaned loads about it not being on
which
the card.
Is Dominik, which is on Bring Your Son to Work Day. Rey Mysterio defending the title with Dominik Mysterio taking on the team of Jay and Jimmy, the Usos.
And let's not forget what this is about, boys.
It is all about, obviously me sitting close at the top of the table, and it's really, really close. This could change. I mean, last year's Money in the Bank, as we mentioned, was the first ever one that we did, and me, Scott, and Rob all got 4 points from that one, and Lucas got 3 points. So obviously anything can happen. Indeed. And Lucas obviously did probably the best you've ever done last time when you got 5 points at Hell in a Cell. So he got 6 at Payback last year. So see how we can do this time. So
all right, Dan. Oh,
yo, let's do this. Come on.
Me. No, that was Rob, but I'll say it was me, and I'll put your color in for no, that is me. I am green. Rob is blue.
I'm blue.
Yeah, that's it. Lucas is yellow.
No.
Dan is red. Oh.
Hey, finally.
It never fails to scare me.
It finally worked.
Where's it gone? Ronnie, where are you? Dan, you go ahead. I'm going to find our fallen friend.
So, I think for me, this one is probably a little bit more cut and dry than I would think, actually, because if it was on the main show, I would have said Usos all day long. Because it's on the pre-show, I don't think they're going to do a title change on the pre-show. I'm going to go with the Mysterios to retain. Whether it's clean or not is a different matter, but I think Mysterios to retain the titles. Mainly just because I don't think the Usos they'll do a title change on the pre-show. So,
but I feel like that's one of the things that you see on the main show when they show the replays. I feel like we've seen that before, where they go, in the pre-show, these titles were won. And then you see a backstage celebration with the guys with the belts or something.
Oh, yeah, they've done it loads of times, but I just don't think they're going to do it this time.
Yeah, but I could kind of see it because we all said Roman was going to beat Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So surely the Usos with the tag titles up next to Roman Reigns with the Universal title is got to happen at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, and as well, I don't think it's going to happen this soon as well because of the Jimmy thing. So that's what's got to be in the back of my head as well.
We were speculating, even when the Mysterios got the belts, it was because they were going to be challenged by the Usos, weren't we? Like months ago, we were saying this. So, or when we thought they might be getting the belts that time, like on Father's Day and whatever else it was. Oh man, we'll start with a tough one. All right, you say Mysterios. Yeah, I'm gonna go the same then, Mysterios, because you're right. I think it might be. Yeah, I could definitely see it in the Usos, but I think if there's any time not to be the Usos, it's now, innit? So.
And the thing is, they're a solid hand as well.
You got SummerSlam coming up. It's only a pre-show fight match. It's awkwardness lately that you don't know how they're feeling backstage. So if there's any time for the Mysterios to keep it, it probably is this time. So I'm going to go with the Mysterios as well, begrudgingly, because I'd love to see the Usos with them again.
Lucas.
Is it Lucas? There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the last time that belts did change hands on a pay-per-view and a pre-show was at the Royal Rumble when Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler regained the Women's Tag Team Championships off of Charlotte and Asuka. So that's 6 months ago. And I do remember the tag belts actually changing quite a few times on pre-shows. Going way back to one of my favourite tag title change on a pre-show, which is when the New Age Outlaws won the tag belts on the pre-show of the Royal Rumble in 2014, which is obviously one of the pre-shows that's actually not on the network at all because it was before the network was a thing. But anyway, it's annoying because Jimmy's arrest and stuff kind of affects this, because I think they would have gone for it, but then they kind of also said that there's no punishment for him. But I think, is that just meaning like he's just not gonna be taken off TV, basically? I guess he's just happy and lucky to having anything to kind of go back to, I guess. I think we have a pre-show though, and like you want to kick the show off really good. Surely Rey Mysterio is a solid fan favorite, isn't he? They lost on SmackDown too. He was pinned.
And I keep forgetting there's fans. Yeah, he was pinned. First match with.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the Mysterios. I'm gonna go with the Mysterios to win. They need to start the show off big, like a nice big face win. Rey Mysterio is the guy, like where he's just everyone's happy to see him. So I'll go with the Mysterios to win.
Oh man, of all the matches I think we've ever had to predict, this is probably one of the hardest ones in the year that we've been doing it.
You having to pick
for me,
Usos and Luchadors, you must be torn.
Oh mate, I like. Do you know what? My heart is semi-broken that I'm having to pick between those two, right? Those teams, almost as bad. It's almost as broken as when I found out the Iconics were released. It's that bad. Like, oh, don't start me.
Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. We'll be booking the release.
It's all right. I'll wrap them still, regardless. But I really don't know. I feel like a part of me, the Usos need to win because the image at the end with Roman being victorious and both of the Usos holding their tag championships. Oh, what a picture that'll be. But I think it's going to happen at SummerSlam. I think the Mysterios are going to win, but it's going to be via a DQ or something like that. I'm not going to put a point on it, but I'm saying Mysterios are going to win, but I don't think that they'll get a pinfall win. I think it'll be a win by a DQ. Because
oh my God, if they do a DQ on a pre-show, the first one back, I don't know, I think that'll be the end of my
I reckon
watching.
Usos will cause carnage for the fact and show dominance that they're a dominant tag team. And they'll just blitz through them and they'll deliberately get themselves DQ'd. I think that's what they'll do to prove a point because of the story driven.
You're going to use a bonus point on that or not?
No, come on now.
No one was risking bonus points this season, are they? Last year.
I'm not doing what Lucas done. And Otis is cashing in.
God, what could have been, eh? What could have been?
Could have
Yeah,
been.
what could have been? Yeah.
So, so yeah, I guess sticking with tag team championships, we'll flip over to the red side of things. From Monday Night Raw, we have the tag team champions defending the titles for the first time since they won them at WrestleMania. AJ Styles and Omos taking on Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. Ronnie, we throw it over to you to see who goes first on
Now,
this.
remember, I've set this one up, so it is likely to fail. So you guys might need to be ready for this one, and then I'll get a switcheroo and we'll figure it out. Right. So that was Dan. Someone just fart. Me, Rob, and Lucas. Dan, where do you want to go?
What do you mean?
Top or bottom, left or right? Where do you want to be? I'm going to give
What are you, Michael Barrymore, top, middle, or bottom? Bottom, left.
There?
Yeah,
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Rob, where do you want to go?
Anywhere you fancy, mate.
Oh, no, it's my go first. Sorry, mate.
Oh, right.
Rob, where do you want to go?
Still anywhere you fancy, mate.
Oh, right. You're not really playing along now, mate, but all right.
I'm sorry.
Lucas, where would you like to go, my friend?
Top right.
Top right. Like around this area?
Yeah.
We're full up there. I can keep going. Oh, that one's falling out. There. Right in Jimmy's heart. Jimmy? Ronnie. Look at Jimmy's DUI on the brain. Okay. Dan.
Go central.
That's in his, you know what I'm saying?
In his
That's
pirates.
where you chose to go. Oh!
In the bit that makes him go,
Well, I'm going to go with his right foot. No.
No.
And this ain't happening. And Rob, where'd you
Yeah,
want to
as a Captain America fan, on your left.
go? On my left.
Yeah, anywhere there.
It's not happening.
No.
Lucas, where do you want to go?
Wherever's left.
Stab him in the back. Stab him in the back. You that kind of person, are you?
Backstabber.
Oh, back round to Dan. I'm just going to fit them where they can fit now. This ain't happening.
He's broken again.
I'm not good at this, guys. Oh, one more. Unless it's Lucas.
Be Lucas.
Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Roll the dice.
It is number 1. Back to me. Okay.
Ronnie wouldn't have done you like that. Just
no, the
He would have done me.
To be fair, it's normally Rob. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, this is going to sound boring, but I feel as though there's going to be another title retention in this one. I don't see the Viking Raiders winning. So I mean, obviously you had was it Ivar pinning AJ Styles on Raw, which was a big shock. But yeah, I just feel as though with Omos being there to like break stuff up, I don't see them getting beat at the moment. Who's going to beat him is a different question, but I don't see it being the Viking Raiders, and I don't see it being at Money in the Bank. So AJ Styles and Omos for me.
It's one of those where you can see, again, a replay. I can just vision a replay of the Viking Raiders with the titles and stuff like that. But I think you're right, like, because where do they go, AJ and Omos? They're not feuding a breakup. It's not a storyline where one of these guys might join the other two. There's no one else in the story to kind of tempt him away just yet, I don't think. So, yeah, what's the point? You know what I mean? So in them changing it, like, where will AJ and Omos go? Just quietly break up, maybe? But yeah, I don't think that's the case. So I'm going to go with AJ and Omos as well.
Yeah. Don't know, because obviously I do like the Viking Raiders, really like them, but they haven't really seemed to have done anything with them since they came back. I know they're a popular tag team, so I guess that's why they're kind of in this spot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see the attraction of obviously having Omos kind of lose on the only second match Sure, I know WWE like to sometimes rush things, but surely you'd wait for that. You know, there is a payoff waiting to be happened the first time he's obviously even taken off his feet, or let alone get pinned. So, and it's interesting, like you said, like I think you're saying about this match being on the pre-show, this match being on the main show. Obviously, Omos is I think they see him as the bigger attraction at the moment, and because I think they needed that solid kickoff match. I think if they risk putting Omos on the pre-show, I think he could be exposed to, a crowd which, we said when the pay-per-view crowd being very different to what they are, what the TV shows ones are. He could be exposed to, obviously, not the nicest reception potentially. So maybe they're just trying to shield him a little bit. They put in middle of the main show, between two hopefully good matches. Then it might subside that. But anyway, my prediction is that AJ Styles and Omos will retain. Boring, but I think we've got plenty.
Yeah, I don't want to be champs, but what else are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, unless the what they're called now, is it the Viking Raiders? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
I mean, they called them War. I don't know what I was going with. I was still thinking they're in NXT.
If only.
Oh yeah, I don't see them at the moment having the need to win the championships. They've come back, as Lucas rightly said, they haven't really done much. I think that's bad booking on their part because they are a solid tag team. And a tag team I'd actually like to see feud against like the likes of the Mysterios and the Usos and stuff when like the brand shuffle happens again and stuff like that. So, I mean, I really feel bad for them, the fact that they're not getting used how they need to be used. They were phenomenal in NXT. But yeah, I don't see them winning at all in this match. So it's going to be a retention for AJ.
So one interesting theory that I did see on this match was that that Riddle could win the Money in the Bank, cash in on AJ and Omos, and literally just be like, say to Randy Orton, like, "Oh, there we go. Look, I've got us these." I think he was talking about it on. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like Raw Talk or one of them.
One of those last kind of things that what if they did the Money in the Bank like this? That's left, isn't it? We were talking on the predictions about like if we used to be like what if they cash in on the night and what if they fail to cash in. Now like we still haven't got what if they don't cash in on the world champion. What
if it times out? As well. Yeah. That's the other one as well. Because
I think they definitely got to do those. I definitely want to see the tag team one because maybe even the Otis, that was a shout for Otis last year that he was going to be the one to do it as a tag team. But yeah, maybe you're right then.
So I mean, the thing is, like, you could have Riddle come in at the end, like while Omos has gone up the ramp or something, just come in, literally RKO, give an RKO to like AJ, pin him, and just be like. Because that doesn't happen anymore either. Like the quick shock of like come in, hit the move, cash in. It's like they have to go through all the rigmarole now of handing it to them announcing this is going to be. It's like it takes, I guess, some of the stuff away from it. But
do you think people will be annoyed about that though? Because we'd lose out on the whole. Unless depends what they do with the women's one. But we've already talked about how it sucks not at least having one go months of are they going to cash in? Are they going to cash in? They'd have to. Then keep the women's one for ages.
Yeah, as we say, the lengthiest reign with that was the Carmella one, which was the only like significant reign, and that was like two. Yeah, and that's the longest ever, I think, 276 days. So,
wow.
Yeah, they really milked the whole cash in on the same night thing, I think.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And then, go on. Sorry,
I was just gonna say we'll give Ronnie a break. We've done him once. It's fine. As long as we get once a show. I think we're all right.
Cool. So we will move on now to the women's side of things. We now do know the completed women's field, and it is Zelina Vega, Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki A.S.H, Liv Morgan, Natalya, and Tamina. So, who is going first for this one? Let's have a look.
Okay, me.
It is number 2. Thank goodness I'm going last on this one.
I'm literally about to lose a point. I mean, the chances of getting it right. Maybe in some years it's easier because, certain people seem writings on the wall, but I find this one really tough. Okay. let's get the people up again because I need to visualize, right? I'm going to take people out of it, right? It's not going to be Natalya or Tamina.
Ooh.
It's not going to be Naomi. It's not going to be Asuka. There's a lot of noise about Liv Morgan. Nikki's got a new character, but I don't see it being the case. Alexa doesn't need it. And they haven't used Zelina Vega the way I thought they would since she's come back. So, if Zelina hadn't come back yet, I'd say it was her. The biggest storyline is Alexa, and Asuka is probably the biggest, most credible name. But Liv Morgan is that kind of breakthrough to the next stage that we always talk about with the Money in the Banks and the Royal Rumbles. So, but then you look at the rest of Liv Morgan's career, when she should have won tag titles and everything else with the Riot Squads, why are they suddenly going to start changing that now? We got some comments here. Gaming Freaking Empire, Alexa or Liv? I think Liv. Give us all a hand there, guys. Thank you for commenting, by the way. Please subscribe if you're new and check out more of our content. We appreciate you being here in the first place. You know what? I'm going to go Liv. Am I? Am I going to Liv?
Are you doing it?
I don't know. But why is Alexa in it? Why is she not in her own little feud? Surely something's going on here. And screw it, man. Liv Morgan's gonna win it. I mean, you got 1 in 8 chance. It's difficult anyway.
Yeah, it is. So you're going to Liv Morgan then?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't say all. Don't say all.
I'm locking it in.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm again do what Scott did and do process of elimination. So it's not going to be Tamina or Natalya because they're tag team champions. It's not going to be Naomi because I hate her. It's not going to be Zelina Vega.
That's not a reason.
Yeah, I think they're aware that no one likes her. So
You always made me spit my drink out.
Like Alexa, yeah, kind of what I was thinking as well there.
Then who are the other people? Sorry, so you got. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is where I always wish they'd have like an unannounced person, you know. But I think I know what's going to happen. But okay, here's my theory on it. If this doesn't happen, the winner will be Alexa Bliss. But because what I think is going to happen is the following.
Okay.
Becky Lynch is returning and winning it. That's literally what's happening.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, isn't it? But I guess
Can I bonus point that?
I think if you, I think we've never really done that before, but I think if you pick someone that's not in the match, it shouldn't be a bonus point. It's just a crazy point because you're not likely to win it. By usual logic, do you know what I mean? Like if they don't show up, so you're going for someone not in it. So I don't think you should. But if you want to, you can also put a bonus point on it. I would say, is that fair, guys? Because he's already. If she's not in it, there's a big chance she's not in it, right? You'd lose out on your one pick. So that's enough as a punishment. You don't need to lose a bonus point as well. Unless you want to put the bonus on because you're so sure that she's coming back, you're going to get a win and a bonus, then it's up to you. But you don't need to put the bonus on as well.
Okay.
I would say.
I see. I don't know, because Alexa's obviously previously won it before, as is Asuka, and they were the two that I was bouncing between. I do think Liv Morgan is up there, but I don't think they see her. Like we've been here so many times before, is what I think with Liv Morgan. We've been here so many times before where she's gotten herself over, she's popular with fans, and then they just don't do anything with her, you know. And they sat on this for so many things of hers. So I can kind of eliminate her, and I'm thinking they want to play it. They probably play it safe, and they haven't obviously had like a 2-time Money in the Bank winner for the women already, unless you count technically.
That's how they announce her anyway, a 2-time Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
winner.
But they haven't got a proper one, you could argue, I guess.
Yeah.
They haven't got a person who's clearly won it twice by themselves.
And when you get these messy things, you need to get someone to have a third. before you can really start boasting, and that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess someone like Asuka would be good to do it. I guess, especially because she would have done like the CM Punk like back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Then Alexa Bliss, I guess, especially because you got the new character. But yeah, if Becky Lynch isn't in the match, I would go for Alexa Bliss. But who I believe will be winning is Becky Lynch. That she will return.
Okay.
I think she'll just be added she do like what Lesnar did a few years ago and just kind of come in at the end.
I got a big feeling she would come back as well. And we've also got this comment here saying every, I guess I'm going to say pay-per-view, we say Becky is returning, which is true, we do. And when I first saw that just now before I put it up, I was going to say, yeah, but this time it feels different. I think I would
I think they've said she's meant to be there in some capacity tonight as well. Whether it's like as a fan or what.
That's not weird though, is it? Because let's remember, she's married to Seth Rollins, who's on the card. Yeah. This is the thing we always have to.
She was at the Rumble, wasn't she? When she
she works for the company as well, so it's not like
Mania as well.
Yeah, he was on the card. Like,
yeah, it's not like when Nash showed up that time at Rumble, and everyone was like, "No, him being there is significant."
Becky Lynch works for the company, and her husband is on the card.
Like,
so it's not that much of a big like, ooh, she's backstage. Like, well, of course she bloody is. Where else is she gonna be?
I'm looking after the kid.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
meant to be on the front desk selling tickets. You know what I mean? Like,
no, looking after a child, mate.
Everyone knows Americans don't look after their children.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Rob, what's your prediction?
Wait, Lucas, what am I actually locking in for you?
You're locking in Alexa Bliss.
I'm locking in Alexa Bliss.
You said I couldn't do it.
No, you can do it, but
you can do it.
Yeah, you can. But it's not going to cost you a point.
Becky Lynch, yeah.
Okay, but you're not going to do a bonus point. You're not super confident.
The thing is, I am, but it's just whether I
throw that bonus point in.
Let's go.
Bonus point and someone that's not even announced for the match. Wow, but you could get 2 out of it, so that will trump.
That's the thing. If I'm right, I will kick myself for not using it. If I'm wrong, then I'll probably I'll keep myself a little bit softer.
And you know what? This might be a good match to do it on because there's 7 chances to fail anyway. So, okay, go on, Rob.
All right, so
I'd throw the field back up again for you.
Oh, thanks, mate. I mean, I'm happy that Tamina's in it. I'd love to see her climb up and pull that briefcase down. However, I feel with fans coming back, and obviously WWE love going towards a younger generation. They've done it with Bayley.
Don't say it.
With Bayley being the hug, Bayley buddies and all that. I really, really, really think that they're going to put it on Nikki A.S.H. purely because the amount of merchandise they're going to have, because A.S.H. stands for almost a superhero. So if almost a superhero can win that and grab that briefcase, anyone can. And I think that's going to be their market. So I'm going Nikki A.S.H.
You locking that in?
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Right.
I think if there's ever a time to do it, it's the first one back with fans. You'll be crazy not to.
Yeah, but you got to think about the year ahead. She's got to have the briefcase.
Right.
But then they didn't think last year and had Otis win it.
I mean, hey, this ain't about Nikki herself. Like Nikki Cross, I would have given her it this time last year. I think what she was doing was amazing. I think she's great. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of what she's been doing. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like it's a bit too soon. For the character,
I think, which I agree with, right? However, sometimes they either do it too late or they do it and it just they do it and we don't want it. Nikki, this is a character that she created herself, right? She pitched it. She got everything done for herself. And it's the first time that for a long time she's invested and there's actually something coming from it. She was lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, so...
So I think it's a perfect branding thing for WWE and merchandising.
If they've seen good reaction, they might reward her and say, well done, like you came up with that and it's working. So yeah, we're going to go, maybe you're right.
But I think it's just very soon though, isn't it? It's the same reason why I didn't say Liv Morgan then, because I think they would only have heard her positive reaction on SmackDown, surely. Like, because there was no crowd before that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And fair enough if they got the Thunderdome where I guess they could have some sort of way of knowing, that she was somewhat popular. But then they're manipulating the sound on the TV.
I think that's it. That's key. Like a lot of things tonight are based on what they thought already. Thunderdome.
Because obviously Tamina and Natalya got the tag belts because obviously the reception to them was very, very positive at WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
night
so
one.
they then put the tag belts on them a few weeks later. But I don't think from SmackDown. Yeah, and like Nikki, I like the Nikki A.S.H character, but I think it's one of those where it will always be in its own lane. That's how I feel. With those kind of characters, I feel very adamantly that
it doesn't
that's its own thing.
Yeah, it's like Santino when he nearly won the Rumble in the Chamber. Like there were fun moments, but looking back in hindsight, I'm glad he didn't win them. Like. Yeah, I don't know, and that's not about her, but that's about this character. This character can only surely get you so far. Like again, obviously it's very similar to the Hurricane and Mighty Molly, but they weren't exactly like the biggest moment from that would maybe be the Hurricane versus the Rock. So
Probably
beat the Rock
when he was Shane or Gregory again, that he was winning the cruiserweight title. Obviously, one title was with Rosie as well. But, so I don't know what I'm talking about, boys.
Yeah, but he was still like in his own lane though. Like I think he understood that he'd get his big moments, but it would never be like a big thing. If that makes sense, know. The same way when he was in the Rumble and he tried to like double choke slam.
Austin and
double
Triple H,
choke slam, and they obviously got rid of him. But we'll always remember that moment. But it's like if you'd done the move, like we wouldn't have. This is what the thing is. When they got it right, they were really good at this stuff. Do you know what I mean? They're really good at kind of like going, okay, we've got this joke kind of characters. Let's have them on the peripheral doing little bits and pieces. Something that R-Truth was good at as well. To be fair, he's able to kind of come in, do a little comedy thing. Everyone goes, "Oh, that's funny, it's R-Truth," and then he moves on. And that's kind of where I see Nikki A.S.H. But I don't know. You could be on something, Rob, but I think it's too soon.
No comment here from Gaming Freaking Empire. I assume that's to do with the Rosie and Hurricane one. Yeah, it just popped up in my head.
Yeah,
I sound like Ray from Ghostbusters there with a marshmallow man. It just popped in. That's who I'd be destroyed by, the Hurricane and the superhero in training. If I was a Ghostbuster.
I love that.
Right, so it's down to me. Now, remember I said I had 3 names in my head. They were Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Nikki Cross. So pretty much like the ones that you guys have all said.
It's mad that we've not said Zelina, right?
But
considering before.
I don't think. So I think I'm not sure Natalya or Tamina are actually going to be in this match. I don't think either of them are. I think. Although Lucas is saying Becky Lynch, I also do think it could be somebody that's not in the match that's going to win it. But I don't think it's going to be Becky. I think that person could be Sonya Deville.
Oh, yes.
You know what? Judging by watching later SmackDown, I should have known you were going to say that because you've been leaning that way. That I've seen you've been saying, what's she doing involved with this story and why she's so heavily involved? Why she kind of do it? Because
you think she on the SmackDown side of things, she has announced every single person on that SmackDown side. So why would she then not just say, "I'm entering the match, you're not"?
Lucas, are you okay?
Oh no, I've got it. I've got how they could do it. They can actually do both for ideas, Dan. They can have Sonya Deville take Tamina and Natalya out the match, like early on in the night. Just make some bollocks reason up. The WWE logic. You've got to defend your titles in 30 days. Blah blah. So you can't be in the match.
Yeah.
Take them out. Then have her in the match. She enters the match. Say that she's replacing them both. Then obviously that will get massive heat. To the extent where, as she gets, obviously everyone goes out, then she's climbing the ladder, and then what do we hear? Whoa!
who lets her in? Who's the authority figure to override things?
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce, do you think?
Adam Pearce or Finlay. Finlay just let her go in the Royal Rumble.
He's just
Irish, isn't it?
Gave freaking Empire.
But the thing is, because see, smart person.
Kind of agree.
See, the only thing as well is the way you got to think as well is there's been some dissension between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville as well, hasn't there? So obviously, Sonya keeps trying to undermine him. So how that story could work with Sonya's like, you know, I'm going to put myself in the match. So Adam Pearce is like, okay, I'll see you putting yourself in the match, and I'm going to raise you this person, whether it's Becky, whether it's Sasha, to stop her winning it. Oh,
yeah.
So tough.
This is the problem with these things, man. We're getting ourselves worked up about an amazing thing that could happen tonight.
I mean, what it probably is going to end up just being one of the current field, but I mean, I think if we're going current field, then I think it's probably going to be. See, I think much like you were saying about the Nikki A.S.H thing, where they could like jump on the merch train. They could jump on the merch train with the Alexa Bliss side of it as well, because they could use it as like a Jack in the Box kind of thing.
True. Oh, what about this? A Jack's in a box.
Where is Nia Jax?
Yeah, what's going on there? So
catering? Don't leave her in catering.
She's probably I was gonna say something then, but it's like it would be totally in the wrong context. So
okay,
I'll refrain from saying what I was gonna say, but I'll put it in the.
Is she tending to her hole?
Yeah.
Right. Dan, who are you picking, mate? Let's go with that. Are you going?
Right. This is the awkward thing. So, see, because the thing is, I can also see Liv Morgan winning it, which is bloody tough.
And you do love Liv Morgan, mate.
I think everyone does. I don't think anyone dislikes Liv Morgan.
I think she's alright.
She got the yes.
Like nothing's made me go. Oh, I really hope she wins it. I think tonight, if she did win it, I'd be happy because of the point. But yeah, I think I'd be excited because I think it'd be a great story. They could tell. I think they could tell a great story, is what I mean. But there's nothing that's told me that she should be in this position. Whereas you say with her with Ruby Wright win the tag titles, I would have been all over that. So,
okay, so. Can I go instead of obviously with Lucas going with Becky for his bonus point? Do I have to say a name, or can I just say someone that's not in the match is going to win it?
That's not specific enough. You got to say a name. Because then, like, if The Rock showed up and won, you'd win a point. No way you put it in The Rock, you know, like.
Well, if to be fair, if The Rock does show up and win it, then I should just.
But then you deserve 1,000 points. Then you have to say The Rock, you know, it's a very different scenario. So if you're gonna, you got to pick a winner first of all, and then the bonus point. Because Lucas didn't use a bonus point. Remember, he just said it would be.
No, he did.
He did.
Oh, you did use it. Sorry.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
We did some, didn't we?
You bullied me into it. Peer pressure. Don't fall for this.
I don't.
Yeah, Scott. How dare you? How dare you?
Nothing anyway.
Do I go? So awkward. Do I go Sonya Deville, or do I?
See, my logic, if you're going to go Sonya Deville, you're already going with someone who's not in the match. So essentially, you're dismissing the rest of the match anyway. So I was just like, I may as well just go bold and use the bonus point because
go hard or go home, brother.
Yeah. But or if you're going to go like Liv Morgan or someone, then just don't use it.
Part of me wants to say that it's going to be. So the thing is, there's nobody in the match that stands out as like this person is going to win. That's why it's so hard to choose this one.
Yeah, because you could say it's an even playing field to an extent, but it's because like no one really knows anything about most of the people. Like,
I honestly think if you look at the graphic, you could literally just take off both like the two on either end. And then you're probably and maybe Naomi, so you're literally down to like.
I think if you look at that, there's a reason.
You can't really discount Asuka though, surely.
Yeah, Alexa's the biggest storyline, but Asuka don't need it. Any other year, Asuka I think would have been in the conversation.
Well, she won last year.
For me, Zelina would have been in the conversation. The way she was with in the early pandemic stage, the fact that she's been brought back.
I think there's more to her after.
But she got brought back as a heel, which is
it's very strange. But so then you got Alexa front and center. But then again, as we spoke about, she's got her own thing going on. Does she really need it?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss. I think I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss because I feel as though they could do stuff with the character a bit more, and it could
with the Money in the Bank, like she dresses it up or something.
Yeah, maybe. Or that's Lily's new hiding place, maybe.
Because isn't the Fiend back soon as well, isn't it? So I guess it.
August, I think. Like, what's going to go on there? Yeah.
A couple of weeks, really.
So I'm locking in Alexa Bliss. Like, it's one of those where I feel like it could be somebody else, but yeah, it's
Hey, this is a surprise we wouldn't see coming.
the safer one, Santina. Yeah, definitely wouldn't see that one.
Didn't see it when she actually came out that time, Santina, at the women's WrestleMania 25. That was very disappointing. Kind of funny, I guess. Okay, what's next? What have we got next? How many we got to do actually there?
That's it.
Oh,
okay.
That's the last.
Well, we'll carry on. We'll go through the other matches again. Anyway, Dan, you've got to head off now, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got to head off.
Should we
But,
like that way?
Yeah.
But Dan's got to head out. But what we're going to do, guys, if you are watching still, we're going to go through just, we've locked in our other predictions, but we're going to go through basically talking about them again. And just, again, things we're excited about and storyline-wise and surprises. Because I don't think Becky Lynch is the only person that could be coming back tonight, or rumored at least to be coming back tonight. But Dan, it's been good. Look, Rob's sick of you already. He's not even looking. Look.
Sorry, I was replying to a message.
Say your goodbyes to Dan, Rob. Come on.
Yeah.
See ya, pal.
Later.
Wait, where'd Lucas go?
Oh, Lucas is gone.
You're the wrong person to go, Lucas.
I said goodbye too hard.
It's the wrong camera. He said bye so hard that he sent 2 people away nearly.
Lucas, where are you gone? Is he coming back?
But anyway, guys, I'm gonna head on out of here. But take care and enjoy the rest of the show.
We'll see you tomorrow, Dan.
Enjoy Money in the Bank.
One of these little things down there. Little review ski. We'll see you then.
Cool.
Dan, it's been a pleasure.
See you later.
Bye. I kick. Hey, he's back! Hey, see you later. Hey, what's it come back again? You want to stay, mate. You want to stay. All right. Are you going? Should I kick you out? Or are you going to kick you out? Hey, Lucas, what's going on with you, man? Can you hear us?
Oh,
There we go.
oh,
Hey!
there we go. Back on Babe Station.
Yeah, I feel like because Lucas
Right.
is Babe Station. And
Okay,
he's got to be
yeah.
at the bottom.
So where are we up to then?
Can you hear us, Lucas? He's not reacting to what we're saying. Hello?
Are you good, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't hear.
Oh,
Scott.
you're good.
Oh, you can't hear me. Rob, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can't hear anything that Scott's saying.
But you can hear
So,
Rob.
yeah. So I'm always looking forward to these Money in the Bank matches, as they do define like a good period of the year. You know, whether we like it or not, like whatever happens tonight, we're gonna be dealing with obviously whoever is going to be the Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Banks for the, at least the next few months, aren't we? Really.
Well, maybe.
And so it's always an interesting time now because they have the chance to make or break certain stars, don't they? They can either obviously choose someone new, like a Nikki A.S.H. for the women, sort of thing. Like a new,
my days.
like a fresh person, like to win or whatever.
Sorry, you said something, Lucas, right? And I just thought I can see WWE doing this as well. If Seth won the Money in the Bank, Becky could come back and win it, and you could actually have a Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Well, they were Rumble winners in the same year, weren't they?
Can you imagine?
But were they together then?
And we still can't hear Scott.
Yeah, you still. Rob, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Maybe it's the same. We'll do. Tell Lucas.
Lucas,
kick him out and bring him back.
Yeah,
it's going to kick you out and bring you back.
Okay.
See ya, pal.
Hey, Lucas, can you hear me?
No.
All right, Lucas, maybe leave the whole stream and come back.
Let me leave and come back.
Yeah.
How did he reply to that if you couldn't hear?
No, I think he just came up with the same idea.
Oh, okay.
For a minute, I was like,
whoa.
Wait, but you can definitely hear me, right? I'm not talking to myself.
I can hear you still. Yeah.
What's going on? I hope the
I don't know.
viewers, if you can hear me, let me know in the comments below. Okay.
There's always something going on with this streams, man.
Wait, honestly, the build-up shows are my favorite.
They're
really
so random.
They're wild. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
You coming back?
We go now, but Yeah, we're being heard. I'm being heard. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So, yeah, is Lucas coming back?
Yeah.
We missed him, man.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
So do you reckon they'll do the Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank? Do you reckon
I
it'll be a thing?
really hope they don't. I really,
All right.
because I'm not opposed to them both winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I am opposed to that crappy marketing. Canal, welcome back. Hello to you as well. Thanks for joining us.
What's going on?
Seen you a few times on this, so thank you. Anyone in the comments, say in watching, say hello, join us. Let us know what you think of the pay-per-view coming up tonight. Who you think is going to win? What returns you might think happen. Obviously, we've done all our predictions so far, but we will be going over all the matches again. So I don't want to see the Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. I'm sure they can make a cool T-shirt out of it, but I don't want to see it. Them two separately, and I'm happy for them. Having a kid. I think if they just got married as well.
They just got married.
I'm very happy for them. But I don't want to see him as Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. And saying that, Seth's done enough. It's got to be that breakthrough person, and if not, someone that hasn't done these kind of things 3 or 4 times. So Seth's been in plenty of big storyline before. Lucas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Yeah.
We go.
Okay. We've got Seth win, please. I'd prefer out of the two of them, because I say I don't want both to happen. I prefer it to be Becky Lynch. I want Becky Lynch to come back and win. But then again, it doesn't matter. Like, Becky Lynch coming back would be enough. I'd be very happy with that.
So my biggest question is, if we get the Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank, and that's what happens, Seth and Becky winning, will you hate that more than Otis winning?
Oh, no. I'm nothing more top. I hate him.
Really?
Again, I liked Otis as a character, but as what Lucas was saying about earlier, people being in a separate lane, like Otis was a different lane for me. He should never have been involved in that. And so much so, hey, I don't want to say I was right, but I was right. They literally ruined him. It did nothing for him. They gave it up. They gave him something he didn't need, and then they gave up on him. They didn't know what to do with him. Now they've shaved his beard, cut his hair, and put him with Shorty G. And we mentioned earlier, I love Gable. I think he's great. And we mentioned how great Gable is. He's good at getting over tag teams and stuff like that. But for me, the proof is in the pudding. They ruined Otis. They gave up on Otis. Gaming, Freaking Empire, disagrees with me. To be honest, I didn't win. I loved it. I don't know why. I don't know why you loved it. Lucas loved it. Loads of people liked it. I think it's the moment. People really like the moment, and I get that. But I was looking ahead, and I think, again, I don't want to brag, but I think I was right in looking ahead that they definitely didn't have anything for him. It went worse. Don't get me wrong, it went worse than I thought it would. They proper gave up on him.
I think the problem is like, we're finding out now that literally all these big decisions are only being made days, hours before it even happens, and I think an Otis Otis win followed by cash in needed to be a short-term thing. Like, and they had like a window to do it in. Obviously, someone like a Seth Rollins, he's a main event guy, and that whenever he's ready to cash in on, whenever that happens, that's a main event moment right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone like Otis, you knew it was only a small window, and the problem they had at that time is that's when obviously Braun Strowman was champion as a babyface, coming out of WrestleMania, and Braun was one of those kind of people that it would have been very hard for anyone to kind of cash in on him, let alone a comedy act. And then obviously over on the Raw side of things, they had a face champion in Drew McIntyre, and they made it last year so that it was, the briefcase was part of the brand. So Otis would have had to be drafted to Raw in order to even qualify to challenge Drew, to be able to cash in on Drew. So he was put, as much as the booking was bad, like after that, they still just obviously had a situation where they got stuck with 2 face champions. And so the best way would have been for him to cash in on the tag belts at some point, around that time, I feel. But in terms of this, I've now predicted for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch to both win. And I've done that in separate predictions episodes, not actually realising that I've done that. But yeah, now that Rob said that, it's literally just what I can see WWE doing. The whole Mr. and Mrs. thing means they can make 2 sets of merch. They can, they can really just go to town with everything with it. It's very lovey-dovey. It's a happy story. Becky Lynch will now be on absolutely everything known to man, talking about how she's a mum who's a wrestler, and is holding the women's Money in the Bank thing. And I think it's that lovely kind of thing. And obviously it helps turn Seth Rollins face again.
True. Yeah, I didn't think about
potentially
that.
If they wanted to do that too. For him to challenge Roman, even though, yes, I think he will fail his cash in. I think he will fail his cash in. And that cash in will happen very soon. He'll fail it because of Edge. Whereas, I think Becky Lynch will cash in and win, but I think they will obviously wait for that one. I think it'll be that way around this year. Because last year, obviously, the men's one obviously went on and on, obviously, because obviously the stuff about us. And then obviously Miz waited it out.
That's what sucks. Like last year, we never got a cash in, like a proper one. Miz, don't get me wrong, but out of the two that won, none of them came to fruition as far as what they should have been. There was a lovely moment with Asuka, and touching on that as well. Game of Freaking Empire has joined in again with some comments. WWE ruining the Money in the Bank. They say Brock, no need. Corbin's cash in sucked. And Strowman sucked. Why did you like Otis then? If you didn't like them, how could you like
didn't
Otis?
cash in.
Yeah, he didn't cash in, true. But yeah, I think it's inevitable though for Money in the Bank to lose its shine, to lose its charm. Because
there's been so many now.
Exactly. There's only so many things you can do. We touched on it earlier, whether or not they could then change it up for the tag titles or expire, as Dan said. They need to do something exciting. Having two does give them the chance to do one quick and one long, but when you're throwing it around and Miz can just worm his way into it, and I think that works out better because of Miz. It led to Lashley and all that kind of thing. But it just proves that they had no idea what they were doing, or they backed out on what they were going to do. And we've seen it back then. That was confusing, but now it makes sense when they re-debut Aleister Black and then they've released the man. It shows that you can win the money, but of course they can have you win the Money in the Bank and not have a plan for you. We always look at this like, oh, this one's going to win because we think this might happen, but maybe they just haven't got a clue.
Well, evidently they haven't. So many sources saying that they haven't decided yet. So, it is what it is. But I do think they maybe start looking at. I think getting that initial person correct is half the battle, and that makes your job easier. I think. Because even if you're then not happy with, let's say, the results, at least you get a decent kind of person to hold the briefcase. So I think that's important. And then if they have a moment in mind, for that person to do their cash in, and usually it will fall to a big pay-per-view or big event like the Chamber was the Chamber was a nice throwback, this year because that was the first cash in, wasn't it? The first cash in was after a Chamber match.
Yeah, it was New Year's
way back. 15 years ago now. 2006, wasn't it? That was the first cash in. And so obviously this year we've got kind of throwback to that. Obviously Miz cashing in on Drew after a Chamber match. So there's still. I think I don't fully agree with you. The guy, I've got his name, said about they've ruined it. I don't think it's been ruined. I do think this year's a kind of year where now there's fans back. Now that they can't really use the pandemic era as an excuse anymore. They will just need to just have a think a bit more carefully about how to utilize it, and go do a drawing board basically of all the ways that hasn't been used. And there's quite a lot. Because creativity with wrestling, you can just make stuff up, and you can just think about ways that hasn't been done. There's loads of ways it hasn't been done. Obviously they've done. I think because everyone's just obsessed with thinking, oh, it only has to be a handful of things. But I think personally, there's loads of ways it hasn't been done. It's not been cashed in on NXT as well. That's another one.
Yeah, true.
It's not been cashed in on that. It's not been cashed in on. I don't think it's been cashed in on Survivor Series at any point. So what about if they finally scrap this garbage Brand Warfare storyline and to actually have Survivor Series matches? And someone cashes in, after that. What if someone, a really cruel way to do it, which I think I mentioned previously on here, where you have a face champion last all the way up until like the go home show before like WrestleMania as champion, and they get cash in on, and they're now no longer in the WrestleMania main event because they've been cashed in on, you know.
But that
you could even go further than that, and you could have potentially, if it's around the season, the Rumble winner too with the briefcase.
Yeah,
you could have the briefcase person, put the briefcase up against the Rumble winner. You know, there's so many different ways. So they have two ways, obviously, to cash in.
Yeah.
You know, you could have somebody who's got a big enough star like a Rollins, be like, well, I'm going to challenge the Royal Rumble winner for his title shot, and then I'm going to cash in on the other champion. You know, so there's a lot of potential champion versus champion matches. There's a lot of potential for ideas here. So yeah, I don't think they've ruined it. But I do think, we need to go through these drawing boards and decide, look, what have we not done?
What can we still do? Yeah. Here we get another comment from You Know the Deal. The Fiend will make an appearance to prevent Alexa Bliss from getting the briefcase. That's not something I've been thinking about, but like, yeah, they could do that just like Alexa did, because surely he's going to want to come back for revenge when he does come back eventually. Thank you very much for that comment. Thanks for joining us, and again, just let us know what else you guys think is going to happen at Money in the Bank. But yeah, what do you guys think of the Fiend coming back, Rob?
Yeah, sorry, I thought I was still muted. I had background noise, so I'm muted. I think it's a good possibility because it's a good way to build up what's going on, purely because there was a weird finish at the WrestleMania with Randy Orton where none of us expected Randy to get the win. We all predicted the Fiend.
For a man to interfere in a women's match, I know technically we've had this the same way with Carmella and sorry?
Reggie?
No, in the James Ellsworth.
Oh, James Ellsworth.
In the
Ellsworth,
yeah. I know we've kind of had that, but like it would be different to that because it wouldn't be helping the person. It'd be kind of like
it'd be preventing.
I think it'd be really good to kind of put those on a level pegging as well. Of like the Fiend didn't come back because of another man. You know what I mean? The Fiend come back because of his storyline with Alexa Bliss. I think that'd be really interesting to do. I think but to do it in a women's match where it has such a focus, now you could argue that it takes away the focus from the women. But I don't think it would. I think it would elevate. Like everybody would be talking about that match, won't they? And Alexa would definitely get kind of shine, and everyone thinking what's going on.
Definitely. I think because we still got unanswered answers to questions to what's going on, because we still don't know why Alexa done what she done, or if it was Lily that caused that. Why did Lily want that to happen? Do you know what I mean? So there's so many questions we can ask for that finish. If Bray did come back or the Fiend come back, it'd be more of a, shock. And now fans are back. We can't do this wacky cinematography that we've had before. So it will be a completely new style what they've done, because we've become accustomed to these weird like videography.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, they did a bit Jack in the Box, remember, at Mania. I mean, that's this thing before. So maybe there'd be something similar, or you couldn't bring it from the roof because that's where the bank.
I mean, it could raise from the floor, or you could lower down through it during a match.
Could you imagine the pop if the Fiend showed up? I mean,
if they done that, that'd be mad.
Yeah, I like that idea. Thanks for the comment once again. And anyone else with great ideas, hopefully the booking team are watching this last minute as they're rewriting the show. And,
never say never.
Get some of these great ideas. What about you, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, what do you call it? Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think if they're gonna have the Fiend back, it would be in a men's feud, though, is what I think. I'm not against obviously him appearing alongside Alexa or whatever. Yeah. But I think they might save that for maybe even Raw afterwards. Like, if Alexa was to win and then she does a celebration and then the Fiend appears and then
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Something like that. I think they really, really learned from that first one with obviously James Ellsworth. And they know not to kind of go there too much. Because even some of the feedback obviously they had, regarding Reggie, Reginald, obviously it was still that kind of thing of like, we don't want men involved with women's wrestling,
right?
So true. I think they would continue to tease. Could even like a few years ago when they had Nia into the Royal Rumble, and obviously doing the men's Royal Rumble match, and obviously doing stuff with the men. Like, I still just think there's that barrier there. Like, but the thing is, I guess the way out here, or the get out here, is the fact that it's supernatural characters.
Yeah,
You know,
and,
so
and
I guess
it's a storyline that like he needs to avenge that. We need some sort of closure on why. I don't want him to ignore that. You know, like maybe
Ignore
right,
what,
maybe
sorry?
Finn comes like the fact that Alexa Bliss screwed him. Like,
Mm.
why did she do that? You know, we need to wrap that up. Even if it don't go to a match, I'm not saying there needs to be a match between those people, but there needs to be some sort of payback, surely.
Yeah.
If the Fiend was to come back, it'd need to be with Alexa Bliss.
Mm.
But yeah, Rob, are you off
am.
now?
I am, because I've got to be up in like 7 hours. So it's going to be one of those where...
Okay, well, it's been great, and we're
As
going to
always.
kick you out like we kicked out Dan, but hopefully you don't come back 3 times like he did.
Yeah.
Rob, thank you very much for joining us. And
Lovely.
We'll
see you guys.
well, see you tomorrow for the review. See you, mate.
Yeah, see you then.
Okay, so we'll stick around for a bit longer. I don't know how long
Yeah.
you've got, Lucas, but we'll keep it going for a bit. How long have you got? You around? You good for now?
Yeah, good for about another half hour or so.
Okay, we're good. Right, so, and once again, guys, let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen tonight. You know, who you think is going to come back. We got another comment here. It's just a big buy for Rob. That's nice. Thanks for that. Right, so someone we haven't really mentioned that possibility of coming back, well, 2 people really, is the big rumor that Goldberg's coming back. And the rumor is that he's coming back next week, not on the pay-per-view, but next week. The other big person, excuse my burps, is Brock Lesnar, right? And I think they could be interchangeable. Which feud they go into and what's happening? Are they going for Lashley? Either of them could go for Lashley. Either of them I could see going for Roman. I think Brock has more of a case to go for Roman as well. I think Brock suits both those feuds a bit better. Personally, that's who I'd prefer to see. I'm not against Goldberg. I think he has a place, but I don't know if this is it. But maybe you do Goldberg Lashley at SummerSlam because you want to say Brock Lashley for WrestleMania next year or something like that. Who knows? What do you think as far as those 2? Who do you think is more likely to come back tonight out of the 2 of them? Or is it just going to be next week? Or is it going to be no one?
Who's the person who's more likely to come back is Goldberg. As he does have a second match in his contract that he hasn't done yet for this year. I don't think it'll be tonight though. No, I don't think it'll be tonight.
Will be Raw?
Probably tomorrow night on Raw.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be going off to Bobby Lashley. Brock's said recently he's not interested in him versus Lashley. He sees no value to it. How much of that is Brock kind of, being Brock and being difficult?
Yeah.
We don't know. And obviously, wasn't the other one Cena? Like, wasn't he meant to be coming back soon? But isn't he now filming?
Yeah.
Isn't he now conveniently filming in August? You know.
Oh,
so
Cena's got to come back soon, man. He's got to come back soon.
Yeah, because obviously the record that was the plan, the kind of leaked stuff that has been said about SummerSlam. And again, guys, if you don't want to, listen to this stuff, we understand. Like, I know some people don't like too much of the dirt sheet kind of stuff getting in stuff, but look, it has to be discussed. But hey, the matches that are being kind of discussed are the Cena versus Reigns match, Edge versus Seth Rollins, and Goldberg, and it was Lesnar versus Lashley, but it now seems to be moved to Goldberg versus Lashley. The problem with Goldberg versus Lashley I have is whoever loses is completely buried, because Goldberg now has lost his last 2 matches in WWE clean as a whistle. Absolutely clean as a whistle. He lost to Braun Strowman, obviously, at WrestleMania last year. He then lost to Drew McIntyre at the Rumble this year. Both are title matches. So he wouldn't really, and again, it will go back to that. He doesn't need a title match, Goldberg. There's much better ways to utilize him if you need to. And then obviously if Lashley loses, then it's like, well, how comes Drew and Strowman were able to get past him, but Lashley wasn't?
Yeah.
And Lashley, he's at that stage now. I've always seen title run Reigns as like, always break them into like little bits, if you know what I mean. And I think that you got that first little bit where they're the new champion, where like, those wins, they do matter, but it's case like if obviously they're going to lose it in a few months anyway, like, well, then they're going to lose it. But now he's at the stage where if he wins, surely he's going to win at like SummerSlam, he's most likely then not going to lose it until like Survivor Series or the Rumble, like at the earliest, because Like, why would you let someone go, retain at WrestleMania, retain at SummerSlam, then go, oh, the Raw afterwards you're gonna lose? Like,
I think you're right. It is a bit of a lose-lose because if Goldberg comes back and beats him, like you say, it kind of, oh really? That was all built up for Goldberg to beat him, and if Goldberg loses, like you say, it's a stain on Goldberg's kind of record.
Well, yeah, because I've always prided. I mean, with Goldberg, like, it's weird saying this, I guess. Like, for people, I understand the whole point of the business is to create new stars, but the problem is, like, Goldberg, he, like Lesnar, because he loses so little.
Yeah, eventually he can't make a new star because his star is
diminished. Yeah, so it's like one of those things where Goldberg now needs to win a couple of matches.
Yeah,
which is really.
But he's not there enough. Yeah, because he's not there enough. If he was there for about 2 months straight and he wrestled on a few Raws, then it'd be like it would build that back up. But now it's almost to the point where everybody looks at him like he wins every match, but you're right, he doesn't. But that's the problem. But if he does, people will still be annoyed because they'll feel like he keeps winning matches, but he hasn't. So it's a very awkward kind of position to be in with people like Goldberg. And Lesnar was in this position a few years ago. Remember, everyone was sick of Lesnar. And it was like, but remember when he came back and remember how the good work he's done, So it's a strange one. Another comment here about Goldberg, actually, Gaming Freaking Empire. Once again, thank you very much for your comments. I wish Goldberg wins. I know many people hate when a part-timer wins WWE Championship, but I want to see him with the title for at least a week or so. Yeah, I like Goldberg, but WWE should put him in the mid-card. So jumping a bit over the place there, we're going to have him for a week. I think that's a bit risky. There's no point giving it to him if that's the case. Put him in the mid-card. If you say that in the sense of like he's an attraction, doesn't need a title around him, completely agree. If you're saying it in the sense of challenging for the IC title, I don't see that happening. I think, it needs to be in a mid-card, like a co-main event, like how Undertaker is at WrestleMania usually. Doesn't need the title. That's what Goldberg needs to be. And that is kind of quite a few of these I'd say old-timers, we're old-timers too, grew up watching them. But, yeah, that's where I want to see those guys. Like Goldberg's had his return title win.
Yeah, twice.
True. Yeah, and the second one really annoyed people.
Do you know what I mean? Like you don't get in other sports, you don't get boxers making comebacks twice. They often learn the first time very, very quickly that this actually hurts now. This actually hurts, and I've got a lot, and I've got enough money.
They kind of need to play on the aging thing, don't they? They need to play on like the fact that Goldberg's come back and he's not the Goldberg from before. But maybe because Goldberg is such a unique character, they can't do that with him.
Well, yeah, I mean Goldberg has complete creative control of his character too, which.
And imagine if Foley come back, he would play the kind of, but it would work with the way his character was even when he was in his prime, to be fair. But he would play the whole, I don't know if I've still got it.
Well, yeah, but he kind of did that already, didn't he? Like when he faced Edge at
Randy
WrestleMania,
Orton,
it was still the kind of, he had to have the whole hardcore legend beating back into him kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously, there was some amazing stuff that happened after that. But in terms of Goldberg as well, like the one thing about that makes me think he might win is that he still is like when you think of the all-time greats, and you go through your head of the all-time great WWE champions, like Goldberg isn't a WWE champion. He's never won it. He won the Universal Championship twice. He's won the World Heavyweight Championship in both WWE and WCW, but he's not been a WWE champion, which just is really weird. Yeah. Considering the fact that obviously he's now such an ambassador for the WWE, he's been back there.
Yeah, you were saying this back when he faced Drew, weren't you? I remember when we were doing the Rumble stuff.
Yeah. I just think it sits weird with me.
I needed it, yeah.
That he's not been a WWE champion, but so many other people have. Yeah. And just when imagining Vince has that book on his wall of like all the people that have been WWE champion, and seeing that Goldberg isn't in that.
I think 15 years ago he would have been happy with that phrase. But now he's, because in 2003, like 2004, they didn't use him quite the way he maybe could have been used. But yeah, I think you're right now. I think look at him, like you say, he's one of the WWE guys. He's not a WCW guy anymore. It's really quite odd. He's a WWE guy now, right?
And guys, let us know your thoughts on this. But there are some people who, for some reason, they just end up, even if they've had longer tenures. Another one now for me. With this, it's AJ Styles. I literally see him as a WWE guy now. Like, I think as much as obviously he's in TNA for so long, I think the fact that he's made it adamant that He's now really part of the WWE family. Like, he's a Grand Slam champion in WWE. Like, he's been on WrestleManias. He's been in Royal Rumble matches. Like, he's literally, you know, for the past kind of 5 years, he's solely been WWE, and he's such a supporter of its apparent ethics that the company have, and the fact that it's a PG company, it means a lot to him. You know, being a religious guy, like, I think I see him as like a big kind of WWE guy. And the same thing in for like Samoa Joe, like obviously recently got released and now been rehired. Yeah. It's like, as much as yes, like there was that part of me where I'm like, oh, we should go back to Impact. It's like, but no, he's so just part of WWE now. Like, they were really high on him. You know, they were coaching him to do lots of different roles within the organization. And even though yes, he was in TNA for like over 10 years, you know, it's still to me like they're WWE guys. But yeah, Goldberg, I think, like in that WWE's been dead at over 20 years now. And I think obviously he's been such a featured star in the past few years in WWE, hasn't he? And because he's had that amazing kind of comeback story, you know, twice. You know, he's got a big.
First one was for his kid. Second one was for him.
He's just like an enigma, Goldberg, isn't he? Where, end of the day, like 2 moves of doom basically have gotten him, you know, so much basically. Never has so much been given from so little, I guess. But I guess like, you know, SummerSlam's obviously going to be a very big show for the WWE. And you know, I'm thinking, you know, we talked about Becky Lynch possibly returning as part of Money in the Bank. So obviously I'm guessing, you know, SummerSlam will be her first kind of match, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so that's it. Do you think Money in the Bank suffers because of SummerSlam, or do you think it thrives because of SummerSlam? Because you could bring people back tonight to build for SummerSlam, and it makes Money in the Bank great as well because everyone's excited about what's happened. Or do they kind of keep it on its own because it was a pre-booked kind of pandemic era pay-per-view? They were thinking like a lot of the kind of things still coming from the Thunderdome era and stuff like that. And they kind of see from Monday, we'll bring in Goldberg and we'll start into SummerSlam. Do you know, like, is it a crossover pay-per-view or is it a line in the sand pay-per-view? I want it to be a crossover pay-per-view. I want it to be like the best of both worlds. The good things about the pandemic era and, you know, the things we're looking forward to in the next bit as well.
Yeah, look, no, I think... No, I mean, I think personally that this will be the start of them taking pay-per-view events seriously again. And I think, like we are giving, I think you don't answer the question directly. I think it's a good thing it being here. Like going back 10 years when it was Summer of Punk, 2011, you know, that all started with Money in the Bank, didn't it? You know, and they built up the champion versus champion stuff. And we can say what we want about that feud, that weird time.
It didn't end too well, but yeah, it was great at the start.
You know, but at the end of the day, like they built up something from Money in the Bank to lead to SummerSlam. And, you know, it kind of, you know, it was a storyline that existed. You know, it's something that happened. And I think, like, because it does, the thing is, Money in the Bank, like the Rumble, it is, at the moment, we're at the cusp now where we've had a period now where we have not had a Money in the Bank contract holder since The Miz obviously cashed in back in February. And we've, you know, I'd argue, to be fair, this is a nice enough gap where we haven't had one for a long enough time now. Not that someone just cashed in. Because again, going back to actually the thing that we're saying that hasn't been done, where someone obviously running out, that would then have to resolve or end up meaning that, you know, you have a Money in the Bank briefcase holder that would still exist, you know, on the night of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, when you're then going to make new Money in the Bank winners. So there won't be enough time to pass for fans to forget that about Money in the Bank because it's always there. So I think, having, you know, so I guess like having the Money in the Bank, you know, now not existing for like 5 months basically, has helped. But yeah, I think like end of the day, this will rocket us into SummerSlam, I'd say. I think like this is one of those where really by the end of this week coming, so after Raw and SmackDown, we should be having 3 or 4 matches, if not signed, sealed, and dotted for SummerSlam, at least kind of like, okay, we know where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, it already feels like Edge and Seth might be one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think at the end of this week, but I do hope it's not too over-reliant on Raw and SmackDown to set them up. I want to see so tonight because I want returns, as we always do, you know, whether it's The Fiend or Becky Lynch or, you know, Goldberg isn't high on the list for me as much as I've loved his career at this moment in time. it's not him. But even if it was Goldberg, or Brock Lesnar, or John Cena, and this is a worry though that we go through as wrestling fans all the time, that are we just working ourselves into a frenzy to be disappointed ultimately?
Well, I said this largely. I maintain this obviously on the predictions too. It's just expectations. It's a thief of joy. Like as much as that's why like in the day, like watching SmackDown the other day, I try to detach myself from a lot of the rumors and a lot of the kind of talk on the internet about it, because I just want to enjoy the show. Like I think, yes, like what do you call it? Yes, like Finn Balor could have been. The Undertaker could have been.
I think they played it well, though. I think it was more about the fans, wasn't it? It was more about the fans. Finn gave them that extra, but I think it was good not to not to use like it being.
But they announced Tony Storm for next week. They still had Shotzi and Knox who were just debuted.
I think that makes people think, they gave us a little bit of an appetizer with Finn Balor and fans back. That's because Money in the Bank is going to be.
Well, yeah, and I think like obviously a lot of people always this now comparison that we have obviously AEW, but a lot of people don't understand that WWE, they're not going to do that. They build everything toward pay-per-view events. They always have done, and they space out their stuff on TV, sometimes too much, and they're not about like going, okay, this is 2 hours as much as they used to be, annoyingly, but they're not about, okay, this is a 2-hour show. We're going to make it. Every single moment be like, balls to the walls kind of thing. It is going to be slower in pace. It is going to have the opening promo. It is going to have, repeats and reflashes of what happened last night and 2 weeks ago and 5 years ago and all that kind of stuff. It's just a different show.
Going back to Goldberg again. So again, with Freaking Empire says Goldberg made Fiend look weak, and I think that is one of the biggest things that is held against Goldberg in a moment, as far as Goldberg coming back and dominating, because if there was any character not to do it to, it was the Fiend. And we touched on the Fiend earlier about possibly coming back tonight or possibly coming back soon. But yeah, I think that is why people look at Goldberg with that kind of like, it's a big part of it at least. Another comment here as well from Johnny Black. Finn Balor at SmackDown and AJ Styles at Raw should be back in the world title pictures after Money in the Bank. Well, that would have to mean AJ loses his title. Our predictions earlier said that we didn't think that would happen unless something big happens. But I don't feel like this is where it almost turns or anything. I think that's coming, but I don't think they set it up that way. I think eventually AJ needs to get back in the title picture for sure. Balor, I was a bit in two minds about him coming back on SmackDown because I felt like NXT was a really good place to refresh, and I feel like maybe you could argue he'd done what he needed to do, went back there, won the title, had a beautiful cross. It was time to come back. But I think I'm just scared from the way they treated him before. He won the Universal title. It was all going so well, got injured that same night. And he never really recovered. And I think that's the Balor we're going to get, the not recovered Balor again. That's what I'm worried about. Whereas NXT, I feel, gave him new life. If we get the Balor that was challenging for the Universal title and fresh and exciting, and great. And to be fair, the fans were really behind it. That could have been more so because fans were first there. But I mean, it was. Yeah, I could see Finn in the title picture, but I think it's going to be a few months from now. I think he needs to go back into secondary titles and secondary feuds for now. AJ as well. I think a few months. I think maybe 3 to 4 months, I could see both of them being back in that. Maybe AJ in about 2 months, if depending when they get those titles off of them. But yeah, what about you on those two, mate?
Yeah, I think AJ, but I don't know, if the AJ of, if AJ kind of saying what he's saying about winding down soon,
is that over? Yeah.
I don't think he'd be kind of gunning for it, but he's obviously a company man. He stepped in obviously at TLC last year, the last time he had a title shot.
Yeah.
Obviously Braun got injured, and Braun was the original plan for that, and that didn't happen. As far as Balor, I don't know. I think that's done, isn't it? Like he faced Brock at the Rumble a few years ago and he lost, so they could obviously he always have that caveat of fans being like, he never got a rematch for the title, but he lost, so that was that.
If that's the case, then, and I don't want to be picking apart people's career goals and decisions and things like that, right? But if that's the way, obviously, you're seeing, and I fear it could be that way as well, that the time has passed on Balor. Obviously, coming back to SmackDown, it is still fresh. There is still opportunity to do something with it. But if it does go the same way it did, the way I fear it will, basically, then is there not a case for you should just leave and go to AEW or go back to Japan?
It depends where he's at. Like, I think, like what we're learning more than ever now is that there's no real. There's different reasons why people are staying where they're staying, you know, and there's no logic to this anymore. Like Zelina Vega returns to WWE when her husband is exiting, you know, at the same time and going to AEW.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes no sense. But I know, you know, Zelina Vega's looking at the fact that, well, look, like AEW present women very differently. Like in WWE, all I've got to do is just, you know, cut a decent promo every now and again, and like they're obviously good because they hire everyone that speaks Spanish now. It seems like they're going to find someone that speaks Spanish but can't obviously speak English, and I'll manage them. Like she knows she's got an easy route there, you know. Whereas in AEW, it's kind of uncertain. Like where she fit in, like, you know.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's uncertain because she's gone back to people that aren't there anymore. She's lost Andrade. She's lost her little stable, you know.
Yeah,
so
but they've got those other ones in NXT, haven't they? You know, they wanted to.
Yeah, but
essentially, I think she just knows she's safe as long as she looks good and can talk in WWE. That's literally her two. You know, if she does nothing else but do those two things, she can sit in a WWE contract for a few years and get on TV regularly.
She's safe though because she left.
Well,
you know, but then she's come back as well. Something must have changed for her to come back, you know.
Well, yeah, like obviously, you know, Aleister Black's hinted that we haven't known the full story, and I suspect that we never will. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation and allegations about the third-party rule that they brought in, and about her leaving because of that. But then she's come back.
Is she still on?
You know, but the way I see it, so basically, essentially, what I'm getting at is, I just think there's just different reasons why people are doing these things. If that makes sense. Yeah. And the old ways of doing things don't exist anymore. And I think people are solely looking at it as business deal, some people, of what can I get. And so I'm thinking someone like Zelina Vega, she just sees that as, look, it's just guaranteed money for very little work, essentially, because they're not going to ask her to do like tables matches. They're not going to ask her to do like, you know, 30-minute classics and stuff. She could be doing barely like 5-minute matches and getting on TV regularly, and that might be what suits her. But you know, she goes to AEW, she'll be expected to wrestle a much kind of high caliber style. She'll be in there potentially with people that she doesn't feel comfortable working with. So there's a lot going for it, basically.
I think that's right. I mean, like we can't assume, like you say, what people want in their careers and what they want to.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And so, like Finn, for instance, he might be looking at the fact is he 40? He's got to be 40 or pushing 40.
Right. Yeah.
And end of the day, WWE is a safer style. You know, hands down, safer style. Yeah. They have opportunities still within the company 39. For people to have. I'm sorry?
39.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, basically 40. Yeah. You know, they have other opportunities and other avenues in that company where he could lend a hand. Like maybe he really, really wants to be the new Performance Center coach. Maybe he really wants to have an ambassador role.
Maybe another 2 years at SmackDown and then goes to do something like that.
Yeah, or maybe he wants to wrestle in NXT UK, put a few new stars over, new faces over before.
Like you're right, there are a lot of options in WWE. You know, as much as we feel like they can mess it up at times, there are a lot of options. Quickly get back to some of these comments as well. We got Gaming Freaking Empire and Johnny Black going. You're not going at each other, having a little thing between each other about AJ Styles US title, Finn IC Survivor Series IC Champ vs US Champ. Awesome. Hey,
I'd say that's more their avenue.
As Johnny Black is pointing out, though, you are going a bit far, bro. It's just July. Survivor Series is 5 years from now. Game freaking out, but I can see it coming, or I wish. Yeah, but like you're right, Lucas. I could see both of them going in that thing, and more so because, like I say, AJ, who knows where he's going to go in a few years, what kind of role he wants, and Finn, if he's going to get to that top stage again, I think he does need to become IC champion or something like that. I think putting him straight in, like. Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns isn't going to be the SummerSlam match.
No.
So he's got to work his way back up, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, I agree. So, I mean, look, you know, time will tell. Like, obviously, Finn had a very, very weird year in 2019 where he went from, you know, WWE title match at the Rumble to being IC champion around WrestleMania season, to losing to The Fiend. And then no longer be on the main roster. Essentially, went to NXT, you know, and then obviously built himself up through NXT, became NXT champion again, and then is now back on the main roster. And again, going back to that motto of expectation being the thief of joy, right? Like, if your expectation from literally a one segment that he done with Sami Zayn on SmackDown is that now Finn Balor is going to become the person to throw Roman Reigns and is going to go on a main event WrestleMania, like you're just robbing yourself of something which is most likely just not going to happen, you know. And we've got to just let things play out and pan out. Like, I think someone like Finn Balor, I'm not his biggest fan, but I can see if you are a fan of him, maybe just think about it from his perspective and from the perspective of the fans. Like, look, you know, why don't we just get some good matches out of him? You know, even if it happens to be that he's not facing Roman Reigns, what about if he faces Cesaro? Sami Zayn, even I'm guessing that's be his first feud now. He'll be facing Sami Zayn most likely on SmackDown probably next week or 2 weeks. You know, like, why not embrace the fact that he's being able to wrestle match against those guys, and most likely he'll then get involved with people like Apollo.
And that's how I was going to say, that's how you make an IC kind of US kind of title strong as well, by getting in those guys. You know, like, that can be the workhorses that are interested in new characters and things like that. Or NXT, you know, but basically just as good here, but in a secondary spot.
Well, yeah, like, I think with fans coming back too, like, obviously Roman's not going to wrestle every single week, and you know, one of my criticisms, thing is a criticism, but it's more because, you know, I feel that while everything they're doing with Roman is just fantastic, it's not allowing other people to kind of get a chance here. But I'm hoping now with fans back, they're going to have to see, look, we can't just have the Roman Uso head of the table thing, you know, open and close every single episode of SmackDown. You know, why not? Why can't SmackDown open with a 20-minute match between Finn Balor and Sami Zayn for the IC Championship? You know, or number contender, for the IC Championship. Why can't it close with like some sort of 6-man tag involving what you can have, like Apollo, Aziz, not Finn Balor, Sami Zayn against like Owens, Big E, and, you know, Finn Balor. You know, like, why can't, and just let the people just tear the house down? Like, why can't it end like that on SmackDown? Definitely. You know, why does it have to always be head of the table?
Yeah, and we can have these different things going on at the same time, like you say, and then like everybody is satisfied. You know, if you put it equally, you know, obviously it's not going to be equal to the main feud, but there were so many times. I know people hark back to the Attitude Era days and stuff like that, but like I really cared about secondary feuds back then. I really did care. And I was younger and stuff like that, but there were a lot of feuds that I was like, I look back on so fondly. A quick point here as well about Apollo, as you just mentioned him, Apollo heel turn saved his career. I 100% agree with that. Okay, so here's some points about John Cena. I think we'll close on this as well. Cena versus Roman is SummerSlam match for sure. That's what everyone says. I don't like it, but the rumors might become reality. Johnny Back, would be interested to hear why you don't like that. Roman needs the match against Cena, not against Balor, so accept that. Okay, so Lucas, before we get out of there, we'll quickly touch on Cena. He might come back tonight. He might not. He might be coming back for SummerSlam. He might not. But if he does, is that where you want to see him? Roman Reigns, or do you want to see him elsewhere? For me, it's not Roman Reigns. I want the Roman Reigns thing in the future. I understand why people draw those parallels. 100% agree with it. But for me, that's in the future. Maybe a WrestleMania or something like that. For me, this needs to be, again, I feel like Roman needs to lose his title to a big babyface. Roman needs to maybe get it back, but continue being a heel and turn face himself eventually by the fans, not by the booking team. Like, the fans need to turn him. The booking team will help, obviously, but he needs to naturally turn. So for me, it's not what I want to see, but I can see it happening. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I want Roman Cena. I want Roman Cena all the way. I think, you know, we are down now to Cena's last kind of potential few matches. They're becoming obviously very few and far between, which for me as a massive John Cena fan is really hard pill to swallow. Like, haven't seen someone be the face of the company, be there every single night and put on, I don't care if you don't like him, like anyone, find someone else who's been a better main eventer for that company. You know, they're literally only a handful that existed, in my opinion.
I wasn't a big fan before, but Big Match John is a real thing.
Yeah, it legitimately is a real thing.
I'm massive, and I think the guy, and like, because I was a Thugonomics guy, and when he turned away from that, I was like, oh. And he was definitely overpushed, and he definitely could have turned heel a few times. But now, and I said this when I did the look back, when me and Tom were looking back on WrestleMania 32 for talking to me this channel, and I said then in that original thing 5 years ago, I was like, man, I never thought the day would come where I'd be so excited to see Cena and see this theme song. And I was like, 5 years later, now I'm more excited to see Cena. I'm more excited to see his theme song.
Yeah, because it's so rare.
You know,
exactly. It's now so rare. You know, he hasn't actually had a match in a WWE ring.
And he did it perfectly, man. When he went to the US title, you know, they finally started booking him in a great. I think the later half of his career has been booked really, really well. And I do think the Roman match is great. I think they should do that. I just don't know if that's what, as far as Roman's storyline at the moment, I don't know if that's the one for Roman at the moment.
I mean, obviously now this is where it gets to the point where, you know, they're having to tick a lot of boxes and find out when they can tick them. I mean, obviously Reigns and Cena had a match before at, was it No Mercy or something, wasn't it? Something really, it was one of those when they were doing pay-per-views every 5 minutes, you know, when they had different plans, you know, and I think it was No Mercy. And I think just looking back on it, you know, if that's a massive match that have happened, but it's like, is that your No Mercy match? No, it's at least a SummerSlam or mainly, you know, Survivor Series kind of match or Rumble. So I think it's just a case of the timing of it working. If it works well this year, this might be the only year it works. You know, like that's it. You get John Cena for SummerSlam. It may never happen again.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's not the right time for Roman's story to go in that direction. Maybe it's not the time, but maybe it is the time because of when we can get Cena, because he's a busy man.
Yeah, you know? he's in the Suicide Squad coming out this month. He's going to be in two more of the Fast and Furious movies, and who knows? Obviously, beyond that, you know, what other stuff he gets involved in.
Sure.
But look, I think that's the right direction. And by the way, when we talk about Balor, like I'm aware that he's not going to challenge Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Just to clarify that, like I don't believe that was ever going to be on the table for him. But I'm saying if fans are expecting that, that's where this expectation, you know, you're really going to hype yourself up for something which is not going to happen, and then you're going to be upset because it doesn't happen. But then you got to think, like, you know, I've never known this to exist before, where someone returns, you know, 5 weeks before a pay-per-view, attack someone who is not only not the champion, but not even a champion in the entire company, and then somehow ends up in the main event of SummerSlam. Like, I don't see how you go from attacking Sami Zayn to facing Roman Reigns. Like, they're literally...
And like I said, if Cena's not right for Reigns, then Finn Balor at the moment, again, in this current... Balor could be built that way, but I definitely wouldn't say that's the case right now. We'll quickly get to some of these comments before we get out of here. So we got, if Drew wins, I swear. I like him, but he needs to break the title picture.
Yeah, he's so much before, man.
We've said this plenty of times on the podcast as well, so we completely agree with you there, mate. And one more comment from Johnny Black. I think Roman will face Cena at SummerSlam and then face Rocket Mania. He will be much more superior with victories against those two. I agree, but you feel that both those matches could be Mania as well. That's the thing. How far do you stretch out each thing? It's very interesting as far as the time.
Are we going to give Reigns a San Martino level?
Yeah, and Reigns being a heel that long as well. I just can't see that either. But yeah, so maybe this is the time to do it. You're not going to keep him heel for 2-3 years, so you do SummerSlam, you do Mania, and that's even a long time. I can't see Reigns being a heel at Mania, but we mentioned
because even Mania, what we're talking about, that's going to be over 18 months, isn't it, by that point? Because he won it in August of last year.
Around
so we're getting over 20 months of him as champion.
Exactly, yeah. And even as a heel, not just a champion, but as a heel, you know, it is shocking. And we mentioned a lot of that before you joined earlier, Lucas. But if anyone's watching us live now, obviously there's a bit of time before the pay-per-view starts. If you joined us late, please go back and watch the beginning of it. If you did see the whole thing and you've got a bit of time, we'd really appreciate if you watch our full predictions, the preview, where we did the other matches that we didn't mention tonight. So basically, tonight we went over this one, and we went over. Did we do that one? No, we did that one the other day. That one, and then we've already spoke about this one. And this one, and this one, and this one. This is the table. Hopefully, I'm going to get to the top of it. If not, maybe I want you to be it, Lucas, because we're the two still here. So, you know, me or you, I don't mind. But no, in all seriousness, thank you very much for watching, everyone. We've really appreciated all the comments. As always, the build-up shows are always very fun to do. We're doing relax, as you can see. Lucas over here like Babe Station. And me with, our little pirate friend. These are real relaxed podcasts, but if you want to see more of us, please subscribe to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel and check out more of our podcasts. When we'll be back tomorrow talking all about Money in the Bank and whether or not any of our predictions actually came true. But for now, I've been Scott. This guy's been Lucas. Earlier you saw Rob and Dan. And thank you very, very much for joining us. Oh, and a bye and a thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you as well. And please come back tomorrow if you're around 5 p.m. British Summer Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 midday for Eastern Standard Time as well. But thank you very much for joining us, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.